Fills me with sorrow that it's come to this, but I think it's absolutely the right decision. I will certainly always remember that Boris got us out of a terrible constitutional crisis, beat Jeremy Corbyn, far left, could have been a disaster for our country. Just need to sort out the Northern Ireland Protocol. But overall, I think thank goodness now we can remember Boris saved this country from a really massive crisis, and thank goodness he's now agreed in the circumstances it's right to go.
Foreign ministers from the G20, the world's largest economies, are meeting on the Indonesian island of Bali for talks overshadowed by tensions caused by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Russia's top diplomat, Sergei Lavrov, is at the event, which will address the global food and energy shortages aggravated by the war. 59 people are going on trial in Italy in connection with the collapse 4 years ago of a motorway bridge. 43 people were killed when a section of the Morandi Bridge in Genoa gave way in torrential rain. Giorgio Robbiano, whose brother and 2 other relatives were among those killed, says he's waiting for answers.
We believe in Italian justice, but we need to know who are the people that choose to kill 43 people. Because, they say cost on maintenance of the bridge. I blame all the people that never maintain the bridge.
This is Moira Alderson with the latest world news from the BBC. The mayor of Sloviansk in eastern Ukraine has told residents to leave the city as Russian shelling increases. Taking control of Sloviansk in the Donetsk region is expected to be Moscow's next aim as the Russian advance continues in eastern Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky has said advanced rocket systems delivered by Western allies were starting to make a difference to the conflict. Singapore has hanged 2 people for drug trafficking in a move condemned by rights activists. One of the convicted men was from Singapore, the other was from neighbouring Malaysia. Here's our Asia-Pacific regional editor, Michael Bristow.
The families were informed of the executions shortly after they took place. It means the city-state has now hanged 4 people in the last few months following a 2-year break in executions. The death penalty remains popular in Singapore, although there have been well-supported protests against it this year. The country's Home Affairs Minister recently told the BBC that he was in no doubt that the death penalty helped stop drug smuggling. But Amnesty International said evidence showed it was an ineffective deterrent. It called the execution shameful and inhuman.
Sri Lanka's central bank has raised interest rates to their highest level in 2 decades. The increase of 1 percentage point to 15.5% is intended to curb rampant inflation. Sri Lanka is struggling to import fuel, food and medicine because of a crippling shortage of foreign currency. The Haitian government says it will appeal against the decision of a Turkish court to free a man accused of involvement in the assassination last year of President Jovenel Moïse. The court rejected the request by Haiti to extradite Samir Handal, a Jordanian citizen. He's accused of hosting meetings attended by the alleged mastermind of the killing. Samir Handal's lawyers had argued that the extradition request was not valid and that he would be tortured if returned to Haiti. That's the latest. BBC News.
It's 9:06 GMT. You're listening to the BBC World Service with a special hour-long edition of The Newsroom, with the news that the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is to resign as leader of the governing Conservative Party. I'm Valerie Sanderson. So, it seemed inevitable for a while, and now it's happened. Boris Johnson has said he will go. There's to be a leadership election in the governing Conservative Party, and he's likely to finally leave in a couple of months. Even before the news of Mr Johnson's resignation broke, and with more than 50 members of the government resigning, the race to succeed him had got underway. First out of the traps, the Attorney-General, Suella Braverman.
The facts are undeniable. He can't command the confidence of people, sufficient numbers of people to serve in his government. He can't engender the support of the parliamentary party. And that is why it is so regrettable for us today. It's incredibly sad for us to reach the conclusion that he sadly must stand.
Yeah, but Theresa May, we've got a little, what is that?
It's a bullfinch, I think.
What is it?
I think it's a bullfinch.
I've got sorry, completely distracted. So basically, do you remember Theresa May? Then she just got the job. So there wasn't a long process, and it happened very quickly. I think this time what's interesting is that the field is wide open. There isn't a plan B. It's not that the parliamentary party have ousted Boris Johnson because they want to put another into his position or change policy as it was with Boris Johnson when he replaced Theresa May. They don't have a plan B. They just don't want him. And that means it's a very wide open race. There will be a number of people that want to replace him.
There's some of them for me.
Well, I mean, there's so many. There's Rishi Sunak. There's Sajid Javid, clearly. Brandon Lewis might want to go. Tom Tugendhat, who's the chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee, he'll fancy it. Penny Mordaunt, she is a Brexiteer. She might want to do it. Who else have we got? I'm definitely missing
Nadeem
people off
Zahawi.
here. Nadeem Zahawi.
Penny Mordaunt.
Penny Mordaunt might
what's
be
her name?
the Brexiteers' choice. Jeremy Hunt, will he have another go at it? There's a number of them.
Suella
Braverman
yeah.
has already said she would like to. Within Cabinet, Dominic Raab might want to go at the top
He said
job.
no to me, actually,
Did
on
he?
the telly.
Okay, that's interesting. So he ran last time, so he's ruled himself. There's Liz Truss, who's not in the country, actually. She's on a foreign secretary trip
Steve
abroad.
Baker was almost
Steve
straight, yeah.
Baker. Well, Steve Baker says that he's been approached, hasn't he? So he might have a go at it. So, we've already got how many?
A lot.
8, 9 names.
Yeah.
Now, what will happen is you have to get a number of MPs to support and then second you. And then you have to have enough MPs to kind of make it a serious bid. So what will happen is there will be some that would like to that will have to drop out quite quickly. And then you'll quickly get into a situation where you have 5, 6 serious contenders and then they get whittled down. But they'll be on television doing hustings and all sorts. It's going to be really busy at a time when Parliament is meant to be in recess.
Where are you going to put your 50p? Who's going to be the next Prime Minister?
I'm not putting my 50p on. But I can tell you, because I did look last night, that in terms of the bookies, because I trust them to make
Rishi.
bets, it actually, Rishi is actually, I think he was 13-2. But Sajid Javid also, I think last night was 1 or 7-1. So, interesting that the two guys that went first are the front runners. But it honestly is wide open. And Rishi Sunak, but a few weeks ago was seen as a busted flush because the controversy around his wife's non-dom status and the fact that he'd kept that green card, it felt like Rishi was over. But I think that Rishi Sunak probably still is a serious proposition, although many in the Conservative Party don't really like his position on the economy. Of course, they want more tax cuts. But Rishi Sunak has to be a
Brexit's really
serious
important
option.
still, though, as well,
Yeah.
isn't it, for the party?
Yes.
They wanted to get Brexit done. And
Yes.
if you are a Remainer, I mean, that's what did for Jeremy Hunt, potentially.
Yeah, it was what did for Jeremy Hunt. I mean, really, Boris Johnson was nailed on in that race. I mean, Jeremy Hunt fought a good fight, but it really was...
He won by 66% of the
yeah,
votes, I think.
it was really nailed on. Sorry, there's another just break in here. Bim Afalami also agrees that Boris Johnson should stand down as leader.
So he was the vice chair of the party,
Yeah.
resigned live
Yeah.
on air earlier on in the week.
So he agrees that he doesn't want the Prime Minister to be a caretaker.
Even when he resigns, he's surrounded by scandal.
Prime Minister.
I was just about to go to Sam Coates. I'm just being told he's not there. So what I'm going to do instead, Beth, is ask you what will happen in the meantime to all of those positions that have been vacated, because government can't run at the moment. Will they just come back again?
I don't
or will
know.
they say
That's
we're
a
only
good
going to come back if Boris Johnson is not in
That's a good question.
office?
It might be that some of those cabinet ministers that have resigned go back into post for the time being, because now really the game is over in terms of whether or not Boris Johnson can carry on. So it might be that some of those cabinet ministers decide to go back into post, and we'll ask them today and see what they say. But how many resignations have we had? We've had the party chair, Oliver Dowden went, then we had Sajid Javid, then we had Rishi Sunak, then we had Simon Hart, Brandon Lewis, and Michael Gove was sacked. So that's five. Oliver Dowden was a couple of weeks ago. That's 5 vacant positions in cabinet. They need fill-in. They're massive jobs. The country needs to be run still. But I think the party, now they've closed the chapter on this controversy over Boris Johnson and whether or not he can remain Prime Minister, I think they need to get on now with trying to put people back into post and get on with governing.
This is hay fever getting to you
Yeah,
like it is to me. That's why I'm drinking my tea. Have a quick drink of your tea. Joining us in just a second will be the Justice Minister, former Justice Minister, now Conservative MP only. That's Mr. Cartledge. Is he with us now? He is with us now. Let's bring him in, should we? Hello to you. Thanks for joining us on the programme this morning, Mr. Cartledge. Let me start by what I finished off there with Beth, and that is, would you be content to go back into your job if Boris Johnson stayed as interim Prime Minister over the summer?
Well, when you've only just resigned, that seems quite an extraordinary question to consider, as you can appreciate. I don't even know what the constitutional propriety is. As far as I'm concerned, I resigned this morning, and I just have relief that eventually the Prime Minister realised the game was up and has now done the right thing, and hopefully we can now move on.
Yeah, it might be difficult to contemplate, but unless people like you and others who have resigned, the present tally is 59, do go back to help run the country, then we're in a very difficult position. My question to you is, would you be prepared to do that while Boris Johnson was still in number 10?
I mean, to be honest, I'd have to wait and wait and be called, as it were. And if someone were to ask me, I'd obviously consider it at the time. It seems to me that I can't sit here speculating whether that's going to happen. The immediate priority, I think we've achieved, which is that, given his position was untenable, the Prime Minister's resigned. Obviously, there's going to be a frenetic amount of activity, and next week we'll be moving into leadership election mode.
It's not speculation, though. It's what we're being told is going to happen. The Prime Minister has agreed, we're being told, to stay in post until a new leader is found. Will you?
No, understood. But obviously, in terms of what he does, what happens in terms of ministerial vacancies, I mean, that would then remain constitutionally a question for him.
Yeah, but he doesn't have enough people to fill the roles, does he?
Clearly, that some will have to be filled. I mean, I may be wrong, but I think you have to have a Solicitor General, for example. I mean, clearly you have to have a chance the Exchequer, one assumes. But I mean, if he is staying in the role of Prime Minister, presumably that will be his immediate task. Obviously, it feels odd to speculate on this when you've just resigned, but were one to get the call, then you'd have to obviously think about it. But you can appreciate it's a big deal to resign. And when you do so, you don't normally do it expecting that you might be back in like a sort of boomerang.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen what the Leader of the Opposition has been saying this morning. He says it's a good job he's finally gone, but a plague on all your houses for keeping him in for so long.
Well, I'm speaking obviously personally. Actually, when you have a ministerial post, you have a responsibility with that. And as you know, I was the Courts Minister, and we do have a very challenging situation in the Crown Court. So I felt duty-bound to stay in my post. But when I woke up this morning, it was pretty obvious that the situation was, totally untenable. I felt I had no choice but to resign. And now, clearly, with so many of us having done so, the Prime Minister's realised the reality of the position, and hopefully we can move on.
OK, just to explain to people, 10:15 this time means that's when we're testing the fire alarm at Millbank, where you are this morning. So there's nothing to worry about for people who are watching.
I've lost sound and there's a fire alarm.
OK, he's lost sound with us. If someone can sort that out for me, please. Lucy, tell me again. Lucy, tell me again who has resigned. Rebecca Power, for Environment Minister, has now also stepped down, is what we're hearing. That's bringing the government resignations in the last 48 hours to 60. Sam Coates is joining us now, our Deputy Political Editor. Hi to you, Sam. Good morning. Good morning. Just shows how quickly things are moving when I'm talking to someone who only resigned this morning, and I'm also immediately asking him if he's going to stay, if he'll go back to his job if the Prime Minister remains in post, at least for now.
That's right, Kate. I'm here in Central Lobby, and it's hard to overstate the sense of bewilderment that I'm coming across with Conservative MPs of all stripes, including cabinet ministers, who are wandering around open-jawed at the situation, the constitutional crisis that we're in. We're in a government that has many, many vacancies unfilled, people unsure how it's going to operate over the coming weeks and months. I think there is a really live debate about what happens next in terms of the interim period before the Conservative Party get a new leader. That will happen, but the question is when and how. Cabinet ministers that I've been talking to this morning, deeply, deeply sceptical that Boris Johnson could do anything like hang on until October. And there's a very particular reason for that, Kay. That's because people around Boris Johnson appear to be planning a policy programme for the current Prime Minister, for Boris Johnson to implement in the next few weeks and months. Let me just let you into what people around Boris Johnson are saying. They are making clear that, frankly, they are now putting together a package to prioritise prioritise the economy and bring forward planned announcements on tax cuts which would otherwise be delayed by the leadership contest. In other words, to put that into English, a lame duck Prime Minister is preparing to make massive decisions, consequential decisions about who should get tax cuts, whether or not there should be more borrowing, what should happen in the economy in this cost of living crisis right now, even though exactly all of those issues might be up for grabs, contested by the dozen or so names that you were just talking about with Beth, who might be standing for the leadership. So one cabinet minister was just going, how on earth could that happen? Sure, Boris Johnson could stay on perhaps until September, the start of September, so that the party in the country can have a chance to select who is the next Prime Minister. But the idea that he can go on longer than that and this is the specific bit, enact big policy decisions, well, that's just for the birds. And that's why you're getting ministers coming out and starting to say a lengthy period with Boris Johnson remaining in office, a sort of big farewell tour, Tony Blair style, would be untenable. If you look in the last few moments, Kwasi Kwarteng, Business Secretary, has just messaged on Twitter, what a depressing state of affairs, so much needless damage caused. We now need a new leader as soon as practicable, someone who can rebuild trust, heal the country and set out a new, sensible and consistent economic approach to help families. So there you've got a cabinet minister actually going on the record with his concern about any attempt by Boris Johnson to cling on. It's now July. We're talking about Conservative Party conference in October, which is rumoured to be the point at which he, Boris Johnson, is considering saying that he will stand down. But that's a long time for a country to be governed by a caretaker, effectively, Prime Minister. Boris Johnson's wings would be clipped if people knew that he was leaving office. He wouldn't have the full support to make massive decisions, it appears, of lots of Conservative MPs, which is why one of the big questions is just the timetable. Tory MPs are actually pretty confident that they might even be able to whittle down that dozen or so names to the last two that can go to the party in the country by the end of term, I think, as Beth was saying, so July the 23rd. So we've got just under 3 weeks to do that. The sort of knockout rounds in the past have taken just over a fortnight when they've been done at pace, as they were after the Brexit vote in the race that ended up with Theresa May in post. But you do have what is increasingly amongst cabinet ministers a sense of constitutional crisis right now over Boris Johnson's leaving date.
OK, Sam, thanks very much indeed. And so the controversy now moves not from whether the Prime Minister should resign, because he will be, and he'll make a statement later on today, but whether he should be allowed to remain as the interim Prime Minister until a new Prime Minister is chosen, a process that could take several weeks. I'm just hearing from one of my cabinet sources who says, I don't think he should be allowed to stay. I think that Dominic Raab, who is the Deputy Prime Minister, should be allowed to be the caretaker Prime Minister. Joining us now is Lord Heseltine, a former Deputy Prime Minister. Hello to you, my Lord. Thank you for joining us. What do you think should happen? Should Boris Johnson be allowed to stay?
I'm absolutely clear that we need a Deputy Prime Minister to act in the interregnum before the new Prime Minister is chosen. It's quite obvious that Boris Johnson, if he actually were allowed to stay, is going to try and put through a range of policies which will bolster his position, presumably for another go or something like that. So that's unthinkable. We're now dealing with a very short period in which a new leader is chosen, and there will have to be a pause in serious policy initiatives. But the critical thing, of course, here is that Boris is associated with one major policy, and that is it, and that is Brexit. And I coined the phrase, if Boris goes, Brexit goes. To me, the big and interesting dilemma is the way in which Keir Starmer has been wrong-footed in making these anti-European speeches as he has, on the basis that he was going to fight Boris Johnson. Now, of course, the Tory party is going to have to find a new leader. And my belief is that there will be a return to sanity towards our policies about Europe, which will make Keir Starmer look, I think, rather foolish and irrelevant. But certainly Boris has got to go, and he mustn't be allowed to sort of manoeuvre and manipulate power in the dying days of his premiership.
But, my lord, you know that the Conservative Party, the modern Conservative Party, wanted to get Brexit done. That's why Jeremy Hunt failed when he was in the two-horse race with Boris Johnson. 66% of those who voted, Conservative members around the country, said they wanted Boris Johnson. And the big issue then, as it is now, was Brexit. So any potential Prime Minister who comes forward will not say they want to go back into Europe.
Well, they won't say that, but they will, I think, say they want a totally more positive relationship with Europe. And if they don't, then they're going to build the opening for the Lib Dems in the south of England. You see, people quote what happened in the last general election. That's history. The important thing is what is happening in the by-elections and in public opinion. And public opinion has now seized Brexit as a disaster, and the Lib Dems are winning safe seats from the Conservatives in the south of England on the issue of Europe, amongst other things. So if the Tory party is going to have a ghost of a chance of going through the next few months, which are going to be very difficult economically, and then being a credible party in the next election, they're going to have to revert to that traditional Conservative position of building a power base in the centre of British politics. Now, don't tell me the party has got divisions on this subject. I fully understand that. But the extreme anti-Europeanism, right-wingism, is in fact a suicide course for the Tory party in the context of the economic circumstances we're facing.
I'm going to ask you this question for those who haven't heard me ask it before. Who do you think would best fit that role?
Well, look, I'm fully aware that I'm quite a controversial figure in the Tory party. So my endorsement could be toxic, and therefore I will remain like a clam, silent.
If I was to press you, might you indulge me?
Might I what?
Might you indulge me with a name if I were to press you and ask you again?
Even faced with your charm, I will remain clam-like.
Do you think there is enough time between now and recess, which is when all the MPs go on their summer holidays, to try to narrow down the... I mean, it's going to be a wide open race, isn't it, for those that would like to be the incumbent at number 10. Do you think there is enough time for Conservative MPs to narrow that down, whittle that down to 2?
Oh, yes, if they want to. And the fact is they will do it very rapidly. They're going on their holidays. They don't want this hanging all over the constituencies in that time. The thing, of course, the trouble is, and I personally would change this rule, I think that the idea of putting 2 people to the membership of the Tory party is actually a mistake, because the membership of the Tory party is a relatively small part of the Tory vote, and it tends to be rather activist, it tends to be rather extreme, and so there is an inbuilt instinct to go for the populist arguments that appeal to the Tory activists as opposed to the critical electorate, which is the one in the centre ground of British politics.
OK, we are going to hear from the Prime Minister to confirm what we already know, that he will be resigning today. What do you think? What do you want to hear from him?
Goodbye.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than that, potentially?
Well, it's very difficult to know what he can say. I mean, he has been a disastrous prime minister in the conduct of the nation's affairs. I'm fully aware that he did a perfectly reasonable job over COVID, broadly the same as all our European equivalents. I know he's been supportive of the Ukrainian heroic defense, and I, of course, much support that. But any Prime Minister would have done the same. And there is that awful feeling reflected in Max Hastings' article in the Times today that Boris saw it as an opportunity of, boosterism, bolsterism. I'm a Churchill, mini Churchill, not even a mini Churchill. So I'm afraid the cynicism in me tells me that really when it comes to it, what has Boris achieved? And Boris has achieved the trashing of Britain's international reputation, the trashing of the reputation of the Tory party, and left us facing an economy in very serious trouble about which the truth needs to be told. And with the devolution agenda, which has been much talked about, actually moving at a snail's pace.
You are, I think we're both, I was going to say of a certain age, I'm going to say experienced, and we've seen a few of these situations previously. Can you make any comparisons between this end of days and other Tory MPs who've had to go?
I think that there is one stark comparison, and that is dignity. Or in this case, the latter. I mean, the fact, it is now a significant period since Michael Howard and William Hague, as former leaders of the party, said that the Prime Minister had to go. We saw that 148 of his colleagues vote against him, and there, of course, were many more who would have done so in any second round. And there has been this sort of unedifying clinging to the rock against the inevitable prizing off. And it has been a very undignified process. And I can't think of any precedent from all the leadership battles that I've watched on the touchlines of now nearly 50 years in public life as unedifying as this one.
And my lord, what would you say to comments that I've been reading in the papers this morning that suggested that if a big beast like you had still been in politics today, he would not have turned you away last night and said, I'm still staying? In other words, it's those around him, not just the Prime Minister, for now, that is responsible for this unedifying spectacle.
I think that his colleagues should have acted more decisively and earlier. But I'm afraid that I subscribe to the view that the cabinet is basically Boris' friends. We have not got that traditional position of a good cabinet, which represents the wide spectrum of Tory party thinking.
OK. Thank you so much for joining us twice in 2 days, my lord. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I wonder what Jacob Rees-Mogg thinks of all this.
Good morning, Mr. Mogg. Do you have a second to chat to me?
Good morning. Well, I just get the Prime Minister has my support.
Does he maintain your support?
He maintains my...
To go today?
That's him going through the Cabinet Office door. Don't be lulled into a false sense of security with that, though, because that door goes straight into number 10, if they want it to. So my bet is that he's going to be in with the PM right now, perhaps helping him write that resignation speech. Adam, standing by. Hi, Adam. What do you think?
Yeah, I've been listening to your interviews with fascination. I think Michael Hesselstein certainly put his finger on it when he talked about that question of dignity or lack of dignity in this particular departure of a Prime Minister. I have to say, I've just been looking at all the various people speaking up now, saying that it's unacceptable that Boris Johnson should be a caretaker, perhaps as long as until October. two wings of the Conservative Party. Ruth Davidson on the one hand saying he can't stay, Dominic Cummings on the other, although he's not officially a Conservative. He, of course, was the senior advisor to Boris Johnson. Kwasi Kwarteng has joined that list. George Freeman has joined that list. That's all within the Conservative Party. And then on the other hand, you've got the leaders of the opposition that we've been hearing from, Nicola Sturgeon and Ed Davey. So this is a continuing open sore after the news that Boris Johnson was going to go, and it may well, I think, be affecting the nature of his announcement and how he speaks to the nation. I mean, we should remember, Kay, that last night the Prime Minister and the Chancellor, the new Chancellor, Nadhim Zahawi, were planning today on making a major economic speech to announce big changes in economic policy, quite possibly tax cuts. I don't even know whether those speeches are still going to go, that speech is still going to go ahead. And even if it does, is it binding? This is momentarily a mess. And worth noting, one of the things that Michael Heseltine said to you, it is possible, although I think unlikely, that the Conservative MPs could speed this process up. Were they to only have an election process and then put forward one candidate for the consideration of the membership, as we saw, for example, with Michael Howard, we wouldn't need to have this extensive period of maybe 6 weeks through August and September of the party membership being balloted because, as it were, the leader would emerge by acclamation at Westminster. Seems to me the Tory party is too riven with divisions and there are too many ambitious politicians out there for that to be a likely outcome. But that is just possible one way. We could have a proper Prime Minister by the time of the recess at the end of this month.
OK, but you think we will get to the situation where potentially, even as interim Prime Minister, it will be so toxic that he can't stay on?
I think there are many people who would regard it as unacceptable now for Boris Johnson to stay on. They don't trust him. It would be unacceptable for him to, as Michael Heseltine said, start launching major policy initiatives while he's a caretaker and admitted he's going. And I think it's his nature that he would want to do that as long as he is in Downing Street. So it seems to me that the outcome of this argument will follow the pattern of the outcome of the argument over whether Boris Johnson should go, and it will almost certainly be that it's inappropriate for him to stay on as a caretaker Prime Minister, which means, I think, most likely, I'm not definitive, but most likely at some point, maybe at the start of the recess, we'll see a caretaker take over, and I suspect that will probably be the Deputy Prime Minister, Dominic Raab. But that at this stage is speculation, because all these things are being actively debated and discussed. And it's clear, as Boris Johnson said yesterday to the liaison committee, that he's going to fight at every step to still continue to have a role.
OK, Adam, for now, thanks. Beth's back with us. Hi, Beth. If you're just tuning our way, we are waiting to hear from Angela Rayner. She's going to be speaking urgent question in the House of Commons. We'll bring that to you just as soon as we can. Latest for us, please, Beth.
Well, we're just hearing that the Foreign Secretary, Liz Truss, and would-be Tory leadership candidate, she is definitely one that would want to run. We've been told that she's cutting short her trip to Indonesia and she is heading back.
Shall we listen to Angela Rayner? Sorry.
Moving. However, it's important the House is kept informed of developments in a timely and authoritative way. There are legitimate questions requiring answers about the functioning of government over this turbulent period. That is why I've granted the UQ we're about to hear. I remind all members that conventions and courtesies are here for a purpose. They allow us to discuss the most important issues without resorting to personal attacks. That is why I encourage all members to remember our constituents are watching events closely. Let us focus on the big issues, not the personality. I now come to the Deputy Leader for the UQ, Angela Rayner.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, for granting this very important UQ today to ask the Minister for the Cabinet Office if he will make a statement on the functioning of government.
Minister Ellis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as the House will be aware, it is widely reported that the Prime Minister is about to make an important statement shortly. I can confirm that it is correct that the Prime Minister will speak shortly. I cannot preempt the Prime Minister's statement, and the House and the nation will hear more imminently. In the meantime, the business of government continues, supported in the usual way by our excellent civil service. There will continue to be ministers of the Crown in place, including in all great offices of state. We must continue to serve our country, constituents, and the general public first and foremost. It is our duty now to make sure the people of this country have a functioning government. This is true now more than ever. The civil service is the foundation on which all governments function. The civil service continues to support across all government departments, and the country can be assured that this will always remain the case. I have spoken this morning to the Cabinet Secretary to that effect. Any transitional arrangements have always been made to allow for the business of government to continue. There are constitutional mechanisms in place to make sure that can happen. We await the Prime Minister's statement, but the House should be reassured that the government continues to function in the meantime. Any necessary ministerial vacancies can and will be filled. Other Secretaries of State can make decisions if necessary. There is a rich reserve of people who are both dedicated and talented, and who remain dedicated to serving our country and their constituents. Calmness and professionalism are now required. Our focus now is fully on the stability and continuity of government, Mr. Speaker. Now is the time to serve in the interests of our country, as it always is, and our constituents during the period ahead.
Angela Rayner.
I hate to break it to the Minister, but we don't have a functioning government. It will be good news for the country that the Prime Minister is to announce his resignation. He was always unfit for office. He has overseen scandal, fraud and waste on an industrial scale. But the chaos of the last 3 days is more than just petty Tory infighting. These actions, Mr. Speaker, have serious consequences for the running of our country. In the middle of the deepest cost of living crisis of a generation, with families unable to make ends meet, a dangerous war in Europe threatening our borders, and a possible trade crisis in Northern Ireland, Britain has no functioning government. No ministers in place to pass legislation, bill committees cancelled with no one to run them. Can the Minister confirm whether the 11 committees due to take place today will go ahead? Without ministers, what are the arrangements to pass primary and secondary legislation, and who will answer oral questions? How will this government continue to be democratically held to account? With the new Education Secretary resigning after 36 hours, which must be a record, there is not a single member in the Department of Education. What does this mean for children taking their exams? What does this mean for the impending childcare cost crisis? And our British national security is at risk too, not least because the Prime Minister thinks he can stay on. With the departure of the Northern Ireland Secretary, only 2 ministers are left able to sign security warrants to approve Secret Service use of sensitive powers. What contingency plans are in place to deal with emergencies in the short term, Mr. Speaker? The Prime Minister has said he will stay on as caretaker. How many more months of chaos does this country have to endure? With dozens of ministerial posts unfilled, who on earth will join the Prime Minister's government now? And how will a half-empty cabinet run the country until October? Mr. Speaker, They will try desperately to change the person at the top, but it's the same old Tory party in government.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I cannot preempt the Prime Minister's statement, and the House and the nation will hear more very shortly, but government and the civil service will continue to function in the meantime. The business of the House statement will be made shortly, and members can ask questions of the Leader of the House of Commons about the matter of the business of this place. But the House will continue to function and government business will continue to function. Other Secretaries of State can deal with issues for other departments constitutionally and legally in necessary circumstances.
John Whittingdale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Without wishing to preempt the Prime Minister's statement, does my right friend agree that he can be proud of a large number of achievements of his government? But can I invite my right friend to preempt the opposition by making clear that Margaret Thatcher, David Cameron, Tony Blair, Theresa May all left office and were succeeded by new leaders and new prime ministers without there being a general election, and that the ship of state sails on?
He is, of course, completely correct.
Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I think as I came into the chamber, we were at 59 resignations and counting. It's a remarkable amount of leadership that was shown by the junior ministerial ranks rather than many of the cabinet. Now, I've been longing since I was elected for a cabinet of remainers, but not necessarily of the kind that we've seen clinging like limpets to a rock. Now, today's announcement from the Prime Minister of his intention to resign comes after 2 years and 348 days in office, which by supreme irony is the same number of days as Neville Chamberlain spent in office as Prime Minister. And it's a Prime Minister who achieved Brexit under false pretences, purely as a part of his game to achieve entry to Downing Street. And in that 2 years and 348 days, he's left behind a trail of political chaos, of economic destruction, and leaving any reputation that the UK might have retained as a reliable international partner which stands up for the international rules-based order, trampled into the dust. We regularly in Scotland have to put up with patronising lectures about how well our government is performing, yet we have a government in Westminster where we have an education department with no education ministers, where we have 6 police forces in England which are under special measures, and a government that seems utterly paralysed and unable to deal with the major issues of the day. The idea that the Prime Minister can stay on and preside over this till the autumn is utterly risible. How long can this farce be allowed to continue? And how is it right that 300 Tory MPs will get to choose the next Prime Minister over that time, while denying the right of 5.5 million Scots to choose their own future?
The government and the civil service will continue to function in the meantime, as they always have done, and as they have done historically.
Well done.
Sir Christopher Cho.
Mr. Speaker, may I thank the Prime Minister for his great service to our nation, and also...
All ladies, you are invited to our premier 13th Annual Women's Conference, Lady to Lady Global Conference 2022. Theme, Joy. Date, Saturday, 30th July. Doors open at 11 a.m. Venue, Fairview's Concert Halls, the Phoenix Theatre, Croydon, CR91DG3, United Kingdom. Register on www.ladytoladyglobal.org. Music Minister, CLC Healing Voices. Simeon. Queenie, Ada Ahi. Congratulations, I have seen the glory of God. Conference speakers, Reverend Betty King, Pastor Marjorie, Pastor Sandra.
I did come to Lady, and from that day onwards, my life has never been the same.
See you there.
On Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Rouge from Senway.
SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. The money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Grazie.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate for you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll find a life is so worthwhile. If you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you're listening to Starr Radio UK and
try to keep you down, look inside you. There's something strong in you. As long as you'll fix it for you.
Okay, so let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Thursday edition of the morning show. Today is a very, very special day here in the UK, and of course across the globe. But everything that is evolving here has an impact on the global economy, security, and name it. But it is a Thursday edition of the morning shows. We know we started the program at 10 o'clock. We'll do our best to make sure that we bring you all the feed from number 10 Downing Street, where we are expecting the Prime Minister to come out with a resignation statement. So as I'm assuring you, I'll make sure monitoring everything, and then make sure that once we have any ongoings or during the course of the program, we'll bring you all those things that you need to know pertaining to what is happening. Well, let me say good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi and Mr. Francis Guy. Behind the scenes, Mr. Frank Davis also working there. I say good morning to each and every one of you and all presenters of Starr Radio UK. I am your one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Now, because we'll be going in and out of number 10 until the statement is made, we're going to be running very closely, watching everything there. So I'll bring you a bit of information from this part of the world and other parts of the world, and then we'll take you to number 10 again to make sure that we're getting everything that needs to be heard.
Only believe His promises are sure. Winners never win, oh, winners never quit. Trust in Jesus, your light will surely shine. Oh, never give up, no, never give up. Only believe.
And we have Mr. Olayomi at number 10 as well, so it's going to be so just stay tuned, don't tap the dial at all, as I've said. Every feed, every information that we need to bring you, we'll be bringing you. So hold on to your guns. I tell you, you won't miss anything on that. But let me say good morning to Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, man of God, Amaya Jirigene in Nigeria, Anthony Adedeji in the US, Tassino in Moscow, and all you wonderful people across the globe who have tuned in this morning to listen to us. Playing in the background, Never Give Up by Reverend Yosin. Never give up, even when the odds are against you. I like one of the the teams in Ghana, that is the Accra House of Folk team, and their slogan is never give up until the bones are rotting. Well, Boris Johnson says he's not gonna give up, while some people want him out. Others want him to just resign and be there, hold the seat to the helm of government, and until a substantive prime minister is elected or leader of the Conservative is elected. But what do you think is going to happen? Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Never give up. Never give up. Only believe.
Okay, so if you're the first time of tuning in, today is a very special program. The Prime Minister of the UK,
trust in Jesus,
Honorable Boris Johnson,
never give up, never
at the end of the road.
Only believe.
But what is going to happen there? We have our own rep and a reporter, Mr. Olayomi, who will be doing so. What is happening in Nigeria there as well. So stay tuned, don't you go away. Well, let me bring you the quote for the day. What does the quote for the day say? It says that, well, the digital age has given everyone tremendous opportunities and new ways of living your potential. So don't give any excuse, but up your game. think is going on. The weather doesn't change. The weather doesn't care about whatever is going on here. It's just going to be hot here in the UK, some part of the world as well. But it's going to be 26 degrees tops and 14 degrees the lowest. Let me bring you details of it. Largely sunny conditions for this afternoon and evening, with just a few patches of low cloud at times, feeling warmer. Tonight is expected to remain dry with lengthy clear spells throughout as high pressure remain in control over the weather. A gentle northerly breeze expected as well. Pollen level is going to be high, UV level is going to be high, and pollution is going to be low. Sunset 21:18 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 04:52 hours. It is All Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. Trust in Jesus. On the day Boris Johnson announced his resignation, you would say, I was also there. With Starr Radio UK, of course. So don't touch the dial. Let me just take a quick break whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi to line up, and then I'll go to him for the report from number 10 Downing Street, the seat of government, where he is at the moment. So stay tuned. Let's go straight to the travels.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road. Let it be the children of the Keep your eyes on the road.
This is Radio
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise. On the Starr Radio Travel App that comes to every weekday from 10:40, coming your way now 10:59 because of the special program that we are bringing your way. Well, on your travel this morning, those of you on the underground, Central Line has got minor delays due to train cancellations. That aside, all the others have got good service. On London Overground, despite suspension, no service between West Croydon to Sydenham while they fix a signal failure at Annerley area. Good service on all other routes. Keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. London Traveling, good service. DLR, good service there as well. Now moving on straight to the major roads in London. Well. A10, A24, A4, A41, Central London Red Route and South Circular A205 all have got closures. A20, several delays there as well. But keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise. I'm on the Starr Radio Travel App that I can do every weekday from 10:40. It's 11 o'clock now. Now moving on to the river bus. On the river bus, apart from the Woolwich Ferry that's got special service, all the others good service. On the final segment of the travel app, there is the National Rail. On the National Rail, Great Western Railway has got special service. Southern and Thameslink have all got minor delays. But check before you leave so you don't miss any of your appointments. On that note, let me say it once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
messages from number 10 Downing Street as well, whilst we wait for the Prime Minister Boris Johnson to address the nation. What address is he going to put across? That is his resignation. But as I'm saying, or playing in the background as you are listening in, never give up, never give up. I will have our own correspondent, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who is at number 10 already, lining himself up, and once he is up, he will be joining us in the next few moments. Okay, so some journalists from the Sky News also reporting there. We can see the entrance of number 10, the door at number 10. Someone also going in there. But whatever it is, just stay tuned and don't you go away whilst we continue to monitor events there. But as I promise you, I'm going to make sure that you don't miss a thing there. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So Olayomi, once you are ready, you just let us know. But now let me take you to some of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria, where Mr. Olayomi Koiki will be joining us from number 10 and then bringing us some updates from there. But let me bring you some of the headlines that we've put across this morning. Presidency, he's a capable hand. Peter Obi opens up on choice of running mate. That is 2023 presidency. Now, what is he talking about? I'll be bringing you more about that. But as I said, Mr. Olayomi Koiki is at number 10 Downing Street. Okay, he's in town. He's in town. His morning is getting ready to get to that point, so he will be getting there, and I'll bring you all that information. But we'll go to him straight, and then we'll look at some of the stories making the rounds, and of course, what is happening here in the UK as well. As long as you are. Okay, let me say good morning to you, Yomi. How are you doing, sir?
Well, a very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers. Good morning as we are now live on this very beautiful, day. I'm actually on the Malibon Road, which I'm going to turn the camera around, where I'll be telling us the reason why we're here. I'm sure you know this road very well. This is the A40 that can take you all the way, to Heathrow Airport from this side. Paddington Station is not far from here. And when you go down this way, that will be taking you back to Madam Tussauds, and likewise, taking you back to where all issues is happening with number 10 Downing Street as more resignation is happening. But why are we here today? We are live in front of the Westminster Magistrate Court, where it's all going to be happening, if not already ongoing, for the court case of the allegation of Ike Ekeremadu, as we reported some few weeks back when we were in Oxbridge. But this morning, I'm back here again, to give more update on that. But for now, let me slightly come back again to you in the studio. This is Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Well, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, reporting live from central London, where he is this morning. Let me say good morning to Shina Nuruddin. Good morning. I hope you are doing very, very well. God bless you too. Yes, God bless you, Shina. But let's go to Yomi. Now, first of all, let's touch on what is happening here, because it's quite interesting. Our listeners or our followers will know that this morning we have to start the program a bit late, or come on live a bit late. Not starting the program late, but come on live a bit late, because we were monitoring events at number 10 Downing Street. Have you been shocked by what is happening in number 10? We'll bring it and we'll put it at par with what happens in Africa. Have you been shocked about it at all?
Well, remember yesterday we talked about this, looking at, some of the resignation and some of those that probably do not believe, Boris Johnson should still continue. But the question is, will Boris Johnson himself now resign or calling an early election? And all this is one of the reasons why, when we compare what is happening in UK, I would have expected a lot of the governors in Nigeria to be resigning because of not being competent enough, to run the affairs of the people. Let's take us back to Ondo State as an example. The governor of Ondo State should be resigning and tendering his resignation. And if the governor is not doing so, most of his cabinet should be doing otherwise. But because it is in Nigeria, it is Africa, most of them would rather shy away from not able to be bold enough to resign from the position that is linked to the government. But I am not surprised, especially with all the resignation in the last 24 hours with number 10 Downing Street. I'm not sure how Boris Johnson will be able to survive in the next couple of days.
Well, information coming through, it seems that he's going to be making an announcement, and as I said to our listeners, we'll be monitoring it very closely. As and when we have any issues there, we'll be touching on that. Anthony Adedeji, good morning. Adibesi Akinwumi, right on. Okay, now quickly, let me just I'm just trying to put that as side by side with what happens in Africa. Now, do you think that with the performance of Buhari and people looking at insecurity going to that length or that height, and people thinking that whoa, somebody has to resign. Now, if you look at what is happening here, where cabinet ministers, talk about the finance minister or the minister for the chancellor for the exchequer, who is second after the prime minister, saying that look, I've tendered in my resignation because I think that we are not seeing things eye to eye, or you are doing something that I don't like. Do you think the Nigerian, one of the top people there, or even the lowest in the cabinet of Buhari, can stand and say, that's what I'm going to do?
Well, I'm not sure whether those working with the federal government or some of his ministers, especially somebody like Lai Mohammed. This is a man that is meant to be a grandfather, and he comes here in the UK, giving all kind of false information that the security situation is as balanced as you might want to think about it. I was actually listening to him on one of the network here yesterday. I'm not sure when that interview held, but remember that 2 days or 3 days ago, we reported that the information minister, Lai Mohammed, a liar, because he's telling the world that there's a peace. The security situation is calm, and less than almost 24 hours after that, it has now been confirmed by the ISIS that they have been the one involved in the Kuje prison attack. And like you said, I would expect Lai Mohammed to be tendering his resignation as quickly as possible, because there's no vote of confidence with this government that we have back in Nigeria. But that is not going to happen, because we know all the politicians would rather die in the seat than allow a proper resignation to happen. Let me tell you what Buhari has to say when he visited the Kuje prison. Saddened by the attack on the medium security custodial center, Kuje, I am disappointed with the intelligence system. How can the terrorists organize and have weapons? The president is asking questions. How can the terrorists have weapons? He also said, attack a security installation and get away with it, with a question mark. I am expecting a comprehensive report on this shocking incident. By now, most resignation should be on the table of the president, even if the president will not be resigning.
Well, that is what happens in Africa, but don't you worry, we're going to bring you more from there. We're going to bring you the case of Ike Ekweremedo, case that is also going on behind those walls there where Mr. Olayomi Ike is. But let me acknowledge Indibwezi Stanley. Okay, yes, good morning to you. Thank you very much. I hope I didn't massacre your name. And then Toyin Osile. It's a really no vote of confidence in the Nigerian government. Well, you know that in Africa, I've never heard any African country where people have decided that because the president is not towing the line, I have decided to resign. It never happens. Okay, but where we are seeing it in the UK, where the prime minister is at the verge of announcing his resignation, and how is it? If you let that side to side with what happens in Nigeria, what happens on the African continent, what do you think can be done there? Yes, Mr. Olayomi Ike at the Westminster Magistrates Court, reporting live from there. Okay, Yomi. Now let's look at some of the stories that you have for us.
Well, first and foremost, we're here this morning, but let's go back and talk about the ISWAP that have now, claim responsibility. I've been able to watch the video. We cannot show the video, and you can see the firepower that was used. We're talking about GPMG. We're talking about RPG. We're talking about bomb that was used in Kuje prison to free more than 1,000 terrorists that have been kept in that particular prison. as we do know, we don't have any information whether Abba Kyari, there's rumor that he never ran away, that he stayed behind, but there's also rumor that, we don't know where he is at the moment. So, but we are waiting for the government to give more information. But like I said earlier, Buhari is shocked, that the intelligence system failed. Before you can get to that particular prison, you would have to go through 3 or 2 military posts. The question is, what happened to all these military posts? Why we're not there, to make sure that they can repel back? Or what happened to when the attack was ongoing, which lasted for more than 3 hours? I would have been able to get to half of Nigeria if I was traveling on the aircraft from here, to Nigeria. But that is the way it is. On that, ISWAP have now claimed responsibility for the incident of the Kuje prison. Let's take a look at some of the other headlines. Then we're going to come back and look into details. Like I said, there's little we can report because as far as we are concerned, we are not reporting from Nigeria. The Metropolitan Police have said the case is between the minor. I remember this morning when I put a call to the court to find out, which of the courts, the case is going to be held, whether it's going to be in Oxbridge. I was first and foremost told that reporting this case is a minor case, and that means we will not be able to mention as much details around the person involved. But we can't mention Ike Ekeremadu and the wife Beatrice that I believe must have come through the back door to get into this magistrate court that is right here on Melbourne Road. Let's now go back to more other headlines. Amid convoy Kuje attack, Buhari has also left the country as usual. He's always running from one country to the other, but his spokesman are saying that the reason Buhari is traveling around is to make sure that there's security in Nigeria. So let's take a look at where the president is traveling to this time around. The president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired on Wednesday yesterday, departed Abuja for Dakar, the Senegalese capital, to participate in the International Development Association for African Summit. At the summit, Buhari is expected to join other African leaders and in an open dialogue on development change challenges, priorities, as well as transformation initiative. That will lead to an outcome document, the Dakar Declaration. So we wait and see how that will have any impact on the lives of an average Nigeria back in Nigeria this morning. Fuel sales is now 175 naira per litre, as there is a lot of queues around Lagos and Abuja this morning. Some filling station on Wednesday dispensed premium motor spirit known as petrol at over 175 naira, higher than the government approved, which is meant to be 165 naira per litre. As oil marketers insist to now embark on a strike from next week if the government fails to pay them. It was also gathered that some outlets in Lagos that sold the commodity at 169 last week had now had to adjust their pump price as well. So 175 naira is what the price is going off this morning. 15 minutes past. I'm going to take 2 more, then I'm going to come back to you in the studio. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. Not a very good news again. Gunmen attack Adamawa Reverend, kill the sons, adopt the daughter. Again, this is the insecurity that we talked about. This is the insecurity that is taking place continuously in Nigeria. What is the story all about? Gunmen have invaded the residence of Reverend Daniel Umaru of the EYN Church in Jari, Mubi local government area of Adamawa State, killing his son, adopting his 13-year-old daughter. The incident occurred on Tuesday night. Like I always say, there is always a delay when it comes to news reported from Nigeria. Let me come back again to you in the studio. There's still a lot to discuss, and we will be looking at part of what we discussed yesterday. If you've missed Niger Voices, our guest spoke about how we should start maybe every end of the month when they have the sanitary, the cleanliness that they do in most of the Yoruba land, that maybe more people should come out and complain to the government about the insecurity in the land. This is Starr Radio UK. your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And now we'll now come back to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki reporting live from Central London, Westminster Magistrate Court, where the case of Ike Ekweremadu is taking place. Where the wife will be looking at what is happening there exactly. But first of all,
if you just take me off for about 30 seconds so that we can adjust the tripod and then we can have it set up properly.
Okay. Let's do that. Let's take Mr. Olayomi Koiki for him to reset up. Okay. Well, so we will have Ekweremadu, Ike Ekweremadu, who is being tried at the Westminster Magistrate Court at the moment, where Mr. Olayomi Koiki is reporting live from. Well, there are some protesters there. Yes, so we can go back to him there. But let me acknowledge a couple of people who have joined us. All of you who have joined us on the Facebook. I salute each and every one of you. Continue to put your comments through. Jeremiah Ekufie says a good one, bro. And then Pat Nurini Bangbopa. Okay, I hope I didn't massacre your name. It says the most useless country is Nigeria. Well. Let me quickly just check on one other source where we are broadcasting from to see whether there have been any comments there. And Adedajo Adesola says, good morning, sir, Mr. Koiki. Thank you, sir. God bless you. All right then. So that is from Adedayo, where are you listening to us from? Let us know that so that we can acknowledge you on that one as well. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Now let's quickly come to the story pertaining to the ISWAP statement saying that they undertook that attack in Nigeria, in Abuja. In Abuja, that is quite a scary one. I mean, the capital, where the seat of government is. If that can take place there, then when you talk about some corner somewhere, I mean, and the president saying that, how come, or I mean, virtually being, let me put it this way, I'm not being insultive, but or insulting, naive, saying that how did they get all those powers? Have you forgotten the fact that they go invade or attack security points and then shipping or transporting arms in as the other man who died, what is his name, my good friend, did say that it was going on during the COVID time where there was restriction. Yeah, so what do you think has gone on there? Yomi, so ISWAP says that what is the president, what is his plan? He says inquiry, we know inquiry goes on, the whitewashing, we don't get anything better from there. What is he going to do there?
Well, it already shows that this particular government, the APC government, has failed when it comes to economy of Nigeria, when it comes to the welfare of the citizen, when it comes to also the education sector. Almost 5 months, all the Nigerian students have been sitting down at home. Let's go back to what ISWAP have actually said. They've actually released a video, now confirming that the Kuje prison, where over 1,000 terrorists have now fled, they are the ones involved in this particular situation. The question then asked is, should we still have trust in this government to protect us, or should we now say that we need to protect ourselves? Let me tell you what the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, said when I was listening to him in an interview that he granted just 24 hours after the attack. Femi Falana says, according to the Nigerian fraudulent constitution, you have the right to defend yourself. And when he was asked, I heard that categorically, that can you also use a firearm to defend yourself? He said, yes, you can, should you be in a life-threatening situation. We are not encouraging anybody to get a firearm, but the question is, who will protect you when the capital city has now been attacked by terrorists? What next can Nigerians be expecting? We saw the killings in our war, where more than 300 people were involved in terms of those that have been affected. We are talking about more than 100 people that died. The question again is this government capable to stop the agenda that the late Dr. Malafia told us, that there will be a civil war in Nigeria, there will be more criminality, and there will be problems ahead of the 2023. Nigerians are asking the question, but the president is currently in Senegal, and we're going to be waiting for him to come back.
Well, we'll be waiting for him, of course. He'll have to come back and do diligence to us. But like what is happening in the UK, do you think that the president will say that, or the cabinet will say that the president has failed the country when it comes to security, and therefore they are resigning? Cabinet members are resigning. I think somebody will say Tofiakwa. That will never happen. All right then. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Mr. Olayomi reporting live from Westminster Magistrate Court, where we have the hearing of the case of Ike Ekerimadu and the wife at the moment pertaining to a minor who was brought into the country for organ harvesting. All right then. Now let me just come back to you for more stories, then we can come to Ike's story once again.
Once again, if you've just joined us, this is Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London at exactly 11:23, where we are reporting on Marylebone Road, opposite, the Westminster Magistrate Court. Let's take a look at some of the other headlines coming out of Nigeria today, the 7th of July, 2022, as we have it as well. Buhari visit Kuje, queries intelligent response as ISWAP claim responsibility. Also, the president has sworn in new ministers, as they say. Let's take a look at who are the ministers and what is the reason for the change. President Muhammadu Buhari has changed 7 newly appointed ministers to serve Nigeria with all diligence and maintain loyalty to the country and the office of the president. He also want all the ministers to stay clear of corrupt practice in the official dealings while rejigging his cabinet by moving 4 ministers around. He also said the redeployment was aimed at revigorating certain sectors where the government desire. Maybe you might want to see this very beautiful vehicle that is moving right behind you there.
No, somebody blocked it. The camera blocked it.
Well, we will see it very soon.
Yes, yes.
That is a very beautiful,
Lamborghini.
Remember that we are in a very posh area, and that literally means that. Let's see if we can get my screen back to me. Yeah. Yes, we're back here in front of it. Because when you come to this particular part of London, you will see all kind of different beautiful vehicles that drive past. So let's go back to those headlines as we were saying. Again, the president has now appointed 7 new ministers to make things work. Maybe these ministers will be doing a little bit more, in terms of the situation in Nigeria. IOC lament escalating oil losses. Somebody is just telling me that in a remote area in Abuja, they're actually buying 256 naira per liter, which is quite a lot of price compared to 165 naira that the government is expecting people to sell it. Now let's take more when it comes to business, because when the country is not working, these have effect to a lot of places and businesses. Lagos police warn against Black Axe Day celebration and threatening Otalia. We know there's a lot of different cultism around the world, and Lagos is also not immune to that as well. New constable to serve in their local government, according to the Inspector General of Police, is the headline. Don't blame Peter Obi for his zealous supporter. Some of his supporter has been very active when it comes to the social media, and when you attack Peter Obi, all of them will come for you. So don't blame Peter Obi for his zealous supporter. Last month, police probe traffic extortion, withdraw errand officer. We know that a lot of the security operatives in Nigeria do use their advantage against innocent Nigerians. And I'm going to take one more, then come back again to you in the studio. If you're joining us, this is Starr Radio UK. Let's take a look at politics. And again, there's another case that is going on in Kenya. Money laundering claims in Kenya fall, says Futawave. This is a case of all these technology, but it seems it doesn't seem to be going well with him. And let me give you a little bit background to that story. Nigeria fintech company Futawave has denied claims that it was involved in a money laundering scheme in Kenya, which led to the closure of bank accounts operated by the company. A Kenya court had ordered the closure of 56 bank accounts operated by 7 companies after the country's asset recovery agency told the court that the accounts were used as a conduit for money laundering. And we do know that when it comes to money laundering, it's a big criminal offense, not here in UK, but around the globe. So I'm going to come back now to you in the studio. Again, there was a very sad one. Air Force deployed personal jet, but there was a mistake with the Nigerian Air Force where a Castina village was bombed, according to the government. Once again, this is Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi reporting live from central London, where Ike Kerimadu and wife are facing a trial for bringing a minor into the country for organ harvesting. We'll be talking about that in a moment. And those of you who missed the Niger Voices yesterday as well, it was a wonderful program. I was at a point I was trying to the production, and my computer was freezing because the number of people there that we were trying to control. But it all went very, very well. But let me acknowledge a couple of people. Adira Big Ben, Olajide Olasco, thumbs up to you as well. Shina, yes, thumbs up. Kazim Favor Olatunde, well done guys, more strength, sirs. And Kazim, more strength to you as well. Adebensi Akinwumi, Nigeria is gone. Well, he said Nigeria is gone. Is Nigeria gone like Boris Johnson, or what are we talking about there? It's All Star Radio UK. Now let's look at the fuel prices, because when we talk about fuel prices and we talk about Nigeria, when it comes to Africa, at times I want to weep. Because if you look at the strength when it comes to the crude oil in Nigeria shouldn't be talking about the fact that fuel prices are going up. They should be talking about the profit that they are making and how they are bettering the lives of Nigerians. But that doesn't seem to be what is going on. So what is causing that fuel prices? Is it that more importation of finished product that is causing it?
Well, there's a lot of reason why there's a lot of crisis when it comes to the fuel sector or the oil sector in Nigeria. Remember that we have 4 refineries that are not functioning. They are actually as useless as a tissue paper, and the government continue to pump money into them without getting anything back in return. A very beautiful sun has just literally shined down, as you can hear, right there. So, which is the beauty of the weather in UK as we're going into the summertime. Let's come back to the issues. Also remember, when it comes to the ongoing, fight between Ukraine and Russia, is also having a bad effect, not just to those in that region, but also to those of us in Africa and Nigeria precisely. So the reason why we are not getting enough fuel across the country is because of the less production that is coming back into the country. And that means that more people would have to pay more price, as at this morning, when somebody is telling us that 256 naira is what they are paying, and the black market continues to be more when the fuel pump itself will not be able to sell, and because people would rather want to use the black market. So it has been going on for a very long time. The NMPC is meant to have been broken into pieces so that people that have the know, but the problem is, it has always been the people that don't have the know runs the affairs of the situation in Nigeria for the last 62 years.
Interesting. Listen to Star Radio UK. Some more comments coming through. Omotayo, okay. Nigeria is under curse. Only God can deliver her. Okay. And then some other comments that have come through as well. Michael Ade says, good morning to you, Archie and Koiki. Good morning to you, Michael. Thank you very much for joining us on the YouTube. Adeoye Rotimi Williams says, Nigeria can't work. Well, he's nailed it nicely. Now, what do you think about all that? Let your comments come through, and I promise you, I'm gonna read that. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, let's now come back a little bit. Do you want us to go into the court case, or are we still looking to some of the other?
Okay, yeah. Let me ask you one of the questions that pertaining to Peter Obi. It looks like he's picked his running mate, has he?
Let me see if that has been the case. I mean, I remember that he had Doyo Kukwe, but they were working because they had to use that, because of the deadline. I think in June 17, when INEC deadline for submission of your vice president. But we do know that there was a kind of an engagement between himself and Kwankwaso, until Kwankwaso said that the North are not going to vote the Igbo because the Igbo wants to break away from Nigeria. But even though Peter Obi has not said he wants to break away from Nigeria, but we do know that that situation has literally changed over. Let's see if we can get any latest update from his Twitter handle this morning. Like I said, Peter Obi has a lot of his followers, and those that believe that it can change. Because as at yesterday, Peter Obi was telling us that Nigeria is already in a coma state, and that means Nigeria will need somebody like him. As this morning, there is nothing there. But 3 days ago, Peter Obi was saying, "I sincerely thank my supporters for believing in me and my commitment to build a united, secure, and well-functioning Nigeria." I'm not sure how he wants to build a united and well-functioning Nigeria, because Nigeria is not functioning, and it has never functioned, because Nigeria is not a country. Nigeria was put together by the British government in 1914, and it is not a nation, because Nigeria doesn't have a language. But according to him, however, I appeal once more that we should be tolerant, and that is how we have lived in this part of the world. Tolerance is very, very important. Different views is welcome, and religious tolerance is also available. But in Nigeria, those that are now trying to overrun the country do not believe in that view, and that is why people that are from the Yoruba, the Biafra, the Middle Belt, and even the Hausa are saying that we are better off to have a nation of our own than continue to be in Nigeria. This is Starr Radio UK. I'm going to come back again to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, that is it for you from Nigeria. Interesting developments there. Shana says Nigeria is very bad now. I mean, she is looking at the whole situation, and I mean, evaluating it and saying that with what is happening now, it is very, very bad. Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, loud and clear. Now, let's quickly look at the Ike Ekweremadu's case at the moment. Okay, I think we have Mr. Olayomi's line is dropped. He's going to call us back. Don't worry, we're going to be picking his call in the next few moments. Yes, just bear with us. Mr. Olayomi Koiki is calling back, and so we're going to get him back on. Yes. I think he should be on now. Yomi, I think we're having a bit of whilst we wait to get him back on, I think we have connectivity issue there at the moment. Yes, so let me try to get him. It is Starr Radio UK. Yes, we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki back on. So let's go back to him, because now we know that the Ike Ekweremadu case is happening live. Now, before behind you, I saw a protester who had a placard. Now, on the placard, I saw no organ transplant or something that the person is protesting about. Now, what have you heard so far from the case? Though the court told you that it's a minor case and therefore not much information will be shared. What have you heard?
Well, this morning, as you can see, that is the face of the two people that are under investigation by the British government or the London Metropolitan Police. We're talking about Ike Ekweremadu and the wife. And what I can tell you is the wife is Beatrice Iwaneka Ekweremadu, 55 years old, born on the 9th of September 1966 of Nigeria, is charged with the conspiracy to arrange, facilitate the travel of another person, with the view of exploitation of an organ harvesting. Also, Ike Ekweremadu, 60 years old, born the 12th of May 1962 of Nigeria, is charged with the conspiracy to arrange, facilitate the travel of another person with the view of exploitation. So, yes, I got here just before 11 o'clock, and I was told, you want to speak on the radio? And I was told, by these gentlemen that we hope we can get, something from him, that actually they already have, let's get one or two things from you, please. He actually told us that, there was, some delegate. We are not sure whether the delegate from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but what we do know is we have people, you pick up.
Okay, let me say, okay, yeah, whilst Mr. Olayomi Koiki is trying to get him, yes.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Yes.
First and foremost, good morning, we're live on Starr Radio UK. It is the finest. Maybe if you move back so that we can see, so we can sit up properly.
Yes,
so right there is God, after destroying our healthcare system, Nigerian leaders regularly travel abroad for medical help. No to organ harvesting. He can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, Mr. Archie.
Okay. Good morning, sir. What's your name? His name.
Let him speak first. Let him speak first.
Yeah.
We're gonna come to his sister. Yeah.
Hello, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
He can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So what do you want to say about this organ harvesting and the Nigerian Health Service that you think that it's been run down by the leaders? I can't hear him.
You can hear him?
No.
Okay, I can hear him. Put it properly. Can you hear him at all, Mr.?
No, nothing. I can't hear him. Okay, you interview him directly. You talk to him directly, and then okay. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear now. Good.
So what
good.
I'm saying is, it's obvious there's no health service in Nigeria. Hence why a senator will have to travel to the UK to do organ transfer.
Okay. Now, my question is, but for the fact that the British authorities think that this person is a minor, do you think that there was anything wrong? Maybe the parents might have gone into a terms or an arrangement, or this person, if he is the 21 years that they are certain that he is, he might have think that, okay, well, I need to do something of the sort, and I can sell one of my organs. Someone will say, well, something that goes on in other parts of the world. So what is wrong with that?
Well, this is in Nigeria. This should be a family issue. First of all, the family there should be somebody in the family to donate the organ. That is what happens anywhere in the world. They try the family members first. If that's not possible, then the person is put on a waiting list for such organs, right?
Yeah.
So the matter of paying somebody or not paying somebody doesn't even have to come into it.
Okay. So the protest that you are making or undertaking at the moment, what do you want to achieve?
This is on behalf of Take It Back UK, right? So we're part of Showore organization in Nigeria.
Okay.
AAC, the party AAC. Right? What we want to achieve, we want to have a socialist kind of government that looks after the poor. Right? So if you don't know Showore, Google him.
Okay.
And everything is on there.
Okay. I know Showore very, very well. He's been to our studios before. So, but to your followers, what do you want to tell them before we run up that conversation? What do you want to tell your followers on all Nigerians pertaining to your protest? Yeah.
All Nigerians need to step up and take back their country. There's no point sitting down and watching this go on and on and on. Nothing is getting better in Nigeria. And with the way things are looking, it's even going to get worse. So it's time to stand up and get active, do what you think is right for your country.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Have a lovely, lovely day. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK from Westminster Magistrate Court, where we have Mr. Olayomi at the moment bringing us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Now, interesting. Now, he's talked about, the deterioration of the the deterioration of the Nigerian health sector, and looking at Africa as a whole, apart from South Africa, where most of the African countries or leaders go to, you look at it, there is nothing to write home about. So somebody say Nigeria is not even better or different from what Ghana is facing, but looking at our resources and how it's all managed, what do you want to say about that?
Well, the Nigerian healthcare sector has been as terrible as you can think of, and the reason why a lot of people have to travel to different countries, especially India, other countries in the Europe and Germany, is because the government, for the last 62 years have failed, to invest in the health sector. If the leaders, are using the health facility, then there will be trust in it. Even the president, has been in government coming up to his last term, and he has always had to come down to UK, to take health issues when it comes to, the president. And that is why a lot of Nigerians are asking the question, I mean, yes, we're concerned that the daughter of Ike Kirimadu has issues with her kidney and needed a support to be alive. But the question is, have they done the right process in the first place? And if they've not done the right process, that literally means that the reason why the UK government have actually now charged them for conspiracy is because not for the fact that they're not concerned about the daughter, but they're also concerned about the minor. When we talk about minor, we're talking about someone that would not be able to make decision on themselves, and that is the reason why the organ harvesting allegation against it. So if you look at it, they were both remanded in the custody some few weeks ago, which is about 2 weeks ago, but today being the 7th of July 2022 is reason why they've now had to bring them down to the Westminster Magistrate Court, where the proceeding, I was told, is going to start at 10 o'clock, but sometime maybe not precisely 10 o'clock. But like I said, when I got here just before 11 o'clock, I was told that there were already representatives. I'm not sure which of the representatives, but we do know that some of the government officials, some of his colleagues are still rallying around him, but I haven't seen any one of them. But we will wait, maybe some of them will come out, because they will not have to go through the back door. They will definitely have to come through here. But Ike Kirimadu will probably have to go to the back door, when after the court hearing. After that, we will know what next, whether, this case will be adjourned or what will be the outcome. All these, we might be able to report that tomorrow. But right now, Star Radio UK, we are live here reporting a case between the British police, London Metropolitan Police, and Ike Kirimadu and the wife Beatrice for charges with conspiracy to arrange, facilitate travel of another person with a view of exploitation, namely organ harvesting.
Wow, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in Westminster Magistrate Court area. Now, Royal Ade, let me say good morning to you as well. He said, government in Nigeria don't care about you and I. All we need is Yoruba Nation. Okay, thank you very much. Let your comments come through, as I've said, and I promise you I'm going to read that. But before we wind up on the Ike Kirimadu case, and then we come to what happened on Niger Voices. For those of you who missed the program yesterday, I was saying, do you think that the Nigerian High Commission has sent someone down there, rep there? You were saying that you're not sure who are in there, but do you think the government, that the federal government, has sent someone in there to come and maybe assist in that case?
Well, there's probability that the government is monitoring this particular case. I won't be surprised that the Nigerian High Commissioner that is there in UK would also be following this proceeding and be looking at, as a Nigerian citizen, who he is, and also a someone that is of highly important in Nigeria. So the High Commissioner will be monitoring this case and then see what kind of assistance that they will be able to give it to him. But I do not know how many people have traveled from Nigeria, in this case. But maybe when we see them coming out, I'll be able to tell you who and who I was able to capture on their way out. But like I said, 7 people, delegates, have arrived and they're already inside the court as the court case is still ongoing.
Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. Suleiman Yusuf, good morning to you too, and thank you very much for joining us. And Nana, good morning to you too. All right then, now let's come to Niger Voices yesterday. Now we had a very special guest. I will let you mention the name again, and then what were discussions all about for those who missed the program?
Well, our guest spoke. Her name is Wumi Praise. She spoke in our local language, and that might be very difficult, for people to understand. But let's always remember that Yoruba language is as a beautiful language as Chinese, as Arab, and that is why she wanted to communicate the message. But we were able to summarize, the conversation. Niger Voices comes on air on Star Radio UK every Wednesday between 6 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. and we have all varieties of guests. I believe the last person you spoke to, is also linked. These are, part of the AAC, and likewise, some of them also believe that the country is not working, just as the people that also believe that the Yoruba nation, the Biafra. What we discussed yesterday was pertaining to the insecurity. She wanted us to convey the message to those that are leading the Yoruba self-determination. We are talking about Professor Banji Akintoye, Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, and Chief Mrs. Modupeola Onitiri Abiola, and the rest of those involved, that they should do something when it comes to the monthly sanitation cleaning that takes place in Nigeria, precisely also in the southwest, where people can come out and use between 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, go on. Yomi, we can hear you. Yeah, go on.
Between 8 o'clock in the morning and also 12 p.m. to discuss about the insecurity in the country. And that I did ask her, whether what about the advice for the youth? She also talked about all kind of different ways, to get the message out. She said, yes, if we want a Yoruba nation, we will also talk about this insecurity that is currently ongoing in Nigeria, that is killing as many people as you can think of.
Wow. So I hope that if you are listening to us this morning, next time you wouldn't miss that program. It's one of a program that it gives you 2.5 hours to just deliberate on what is going on in Nigeria when it comes to the parts of Nigeria that think that breaking away is the only solution to what is happening now. But always Wednesdays we bring you that, and then every weekday from 11 o'clock Mr. Olayomi is on to bring you updates from Nigeria. Today is reporting live from the Westminster Magistrate Court, where Ike Ekweremado's case is taking place there. But let me say good morning to Walex Salam. Yes, Walex, I hope you are doing very, very well as well. Yes, so in the background, some demonstrators there as well, protesters there in front of the court. He'll be following very closely, and as and when we have anybody or representatives coming through, we will be bringing you updates from that. And also, I'm sure that maybe they'll try to get a bill for Ike Ekweremadu and Beatrice, Mrs. Ekweremadu as well. We're following very closely. But before we go, let's go back to Yomi for his closing remarks and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, the social media has been very, very busy, as you can think. As you can see, I decided to show us a view of what it looks like when it comes to the traffic that we do report back in the studio all the time. And when you look at this particular road network, it is a very, very important road network, and that means that if there is a kind of a slight delay, it also has a big impact on the road network here in UK. So let's take a look at what is happening this morning on the social media, and then we start bringing the program to an end. Once again, this is still Starr Radio UK at 11:49. Quite a lot is trending, but on number one, Kuje is still trending, and the reason for that is ISWAP has now claimed responsibility for what actually happened. So Kuje is trending, and likewise Boris Johnson is trending. So it seems a lot of Nigerians are also following, the politics and the news of what is happening here in UK. So, but let me just touch on Kuje, and then we can bring that to an end. So I'm going to take 2 or 3 comments from what is trending this morning. Just waiting because of the network this morning as well, as been going in and out. But what I can say is the reactions of Nigerians has been a shock, especially when the president that is meant to be in the know is asking the question, how did the terrorists had a lot of weapons, firepower to invade the Kuje prison and jailbreak as many of the terrorists that have been kept in that prison. So this morning, according to Mina Al-Lami, ISIS has claimed responsibility on the July 5th attack on the prison in Nigeria, Abuja capital. In a brief claim, the jihadist group say is militant and attacked the Kuje prison and also free a lot of people. Joseph Okechukwu, Kuje prison break. Nigeria, a nation where terrorists are routinely pardoned after gruesome murders, where 8 men get to hold press briefing after massacre. Storming a prison in the nation's capital to free their comrades shouldn't be a big deal. No, good luck with that 2023. And I'm going to take one more from Chinasa Unoru. Breaking, ISWAP claim responsibility for Kuje prison attack, also released the video. The American government is speaking, and the American has also warned of a more imminent attack. According to what we have, Kuje prison breaks, the U.S. has now issued a security alert, says more attacks are still imminent around Abuja. So we say to those that are living in Nigeria or living in the capital city to continue to be very, very vigilant this morning.
Okay. Let me say thank you very much to Mr. Olayomi Koiki for this wonderful update. But follow him on the Koiki Media platform as well. We'll be trying to monitor what is going on there. And tomorrow he's going to be bringing you live. Or as and when there are breaking news from the courts, he's going to come back on during the course of the program and we can let you know as well. Yomi, let me say stay safe and then I'll see you a bit later.
A very good morning to you. Bye for now.
Bye. All right then, listeners, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 8 minutes to the top of the hour. That is 8 minutes to 12. Okay, and now 7 minutes to 12. We're going to take a quick break. We come back and then bring some lovely tunes just to cool you down. But while that is going on, I'll be bringing you pictures of what is happening in our at number 10 Downing Street. So don't you go away.
Constitution.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 3 minutes to the top of the hour. It is the Thursday edition of the morning show here in London. Well, someone would say developing stories making the rounds here on your shots or your screens at the moment. The front or the door to number 10 Downing Street, where we've got a feed from our Sky correspondents there as well. Well, where we get some of our information from. But I hope that whilst you are listening, we're waiting for the Prime Minister to come and make that statement. Well, some were saying that his statement was being drafted for him there. But then, is that what is happening? And do you think he's going to survive another period to the end of, as they were saying, staying until the end of, how do I even put it now? The summer holidays? Do you think that's going to happen at all? Well, we're following it very, very closely, and any development will let you know. Foreign Secretary Liz Truss is cutting short her trip to G20 meeting in Indonesia and returning to London. That's some of the information making the rounds. Is it going to lace her boots to also throw her hat in the ring for that position? Well, we'll be monitoring that. But Comrade Olalikan Odadayi, yes, I posted a long comment. They said 12,000 children missing in the UK care system. The institutional child trafficking also happening in the UK. Where else? Disguising hypocrisy from nation that claim to love children. Yeah, mayor, doctors and social workers arrested in scheme to brainwash children into believing they had been abused and sell them. Wow. That's quite interesting. Comrade Olalikan, or is it Commander? Well, I think it's Comrade Olalikan. Thank you very much for that information. We know that things like that goes on here as well. But you all have to beware. And as I was saying, I was asking about the Ekeremedo's case, and I was of the view that even if it happens that they let me put it this way, they didn't know that this boy that they brought in was underage. So as far as they were concerned, they said the story has been that he is 21. Okay, so he's of age, and therefore even here, if you're at that age, you can go on to do whatever. But we have people protesting, saying that it's because of the failures of the government is seeing to our health sector that has brought about all this. Well, somebody who, you're going to be ill, people are living in this part of the world yet have organ failures, cancers and various things, and therefore from time to time there is the need, or every time there are need for people to get transplant and others. So it's not something that I would say, because we live in this part of the world, nothing of the sort will happen to us. But it's very important for us to note that whoever is donating or is prepared to donate is not underage, and it's not does not need any help in his cognitive. Okay, so it has virtually they can analyze things and understand things properly. Wherever you are, it's now 12 o'clock from the House of London. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me bring you a tune, and then we'll continue with the show. But before then, the lines are open: 0208-133-2257 or 58. 0208-133-2257 or 58. If you happen to be in US or Canada, it is 0017183032737. 0017183032737. You can text or WhatsApp us at 0753966144. 0753966144. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. The question this morning is: do you think Boris should still hold the helm of government till a substantive leader of the Conservative is nominated or voted for to lead or to come and take the helm as a prime minister? Or should we just go today, as some people are calling for him to do, because the resignation is continuing? But what do you think? What is his legacy? But for him, whoa. we wouldn't have had anything. But well, information coming through now says that we are expecting a statement from the Prime Minister at from 12:30, and as I'm saying, I'll be monitoring very, very closely so you don't miss a thing there. Those of you watching us from other parts of the world, but let's enjoy this tune, and I'll come back. I'll bring you all the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Well, in Ghana, the government have decided to go to the IMF for a bailout. Now, what are going to be the cuts? Now, we have various bodies, the teachers, the various unions signing a word of caution to the government that if you dare cut any of our pay or a number of workers, then you're going to be in trouble. Now, so what should government do? Shamsuddin Oladipopo says, Yoruba Nation, we want. Okay, enjoy this song. A cover version of Bob Marley's song. So don't worry about a thing. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you.
No worry about the thing, and every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about the thing, and every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
it's by my doorstep.
The best radio show.
Singing sweet song of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. No worry about the thing, and every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about the thing, and every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds is by my doorstep, singing sweet song, melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Come on.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up? No worry about the thing, and every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about the thing, and every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about the thing, and every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about the thing.
This is Starr Radio UK.
It's gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds.
Well, rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Are you smiling with the rising sun wherever you're listening to us from?
Sweet song.
Well, some of our listeners in other parts of the world, I say, Stone rap code says that's what Nigeria brings to us. We need Yoruba Nation now. And Ibokon Ogunfeltimi says the writing is on the wall, the end of an era in politics, and many will wonder what's next for Bojonomics after 2.5 years as Prime Minister.
And never little thing.
But Ibokun, do you think that the Prime Minister should still remain in office whilst they look for a substantive leader of the Conservative Party, Or do you think that he should just go like today with all the bojo economics or bojonomics? All right, then I want to know what you think about all that. But I hope that you got a song that has given you a bit of comfort there. It's All Star Radio UK. 7 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's continue with the program. Let's look at some of the other stories making the rounds, because I know that it's 12:30 exactly. I'll be taking to number 10, where it's all unraveling. Hopefully we should have the Prime Minister at that time to bring us his statement as whether he's staying on, as whether he's going now, or whatever he's going to be doing. I promise you, I'm going to bring that your way. The end of an era. This morning on my way to the studio, I was talking with the missus, and I was saying that power is transient. So whenever you are in power, I mean, anything that, I'm untouchable, I have got all that, I can do this, then I tell you that, guy, be very, very careful. At times you see the writing on the wall, as Belshazzar saw, that's what is happening to Bojo. Well, it said, I didn't see. It said, you saw. And then look at what has happened. Well. I hope that African leaders are taking a leaf out of his book. Okay, now let's move on to other stories making the rounds this morning in other parts of the world. Well, Ghanaian voters will show you Pepe in 2024. A lecturer to the MPP, a lecturer is saying to the MPP, a lecturer at the King's University College, Professor Kwame Ejenim Boateng, has predicted that Ghanaians will show the governing New Patriotic Party in 2024 for taking them for granted. The lecturer at the Faculty of Law and Governance said the MPP has taken the Ghanaians for granted for far too long, and come 2024 they will show them what Pepe. He noted that the government has assigned and assigns are behaving as if Ghanaians are stupid and fools by justifying their failures. The lecturer posited that Ghanaians are not fools or stupid to be taken for granted. Sometimes these leaders think we lack sense. Are there no advisors to advise the president? They peddle the lies, and now Ghanaians have realized they lied. Whatever they will do, they should know that their days are numbered, and in 2024, Ghanaians will choose a new leader. In a quote, he said, I will admonish leaders in the party to advise the president to apologize. He has contracted huge loans. He should not only apologize, but admit he has failed. The loans from the era of Nkrumah to John Mahama combined are less than what this government had contracted. But we don't know what they have done with them. He said the recent comments by the president that he will hand over power to another MPP government was not for him to decide, but Ghanaian voters will decide the fate of the MPP come 2024. Someone will say, how true that statement? But do you think that's what's going to happen? Well, if it is part of the world, we would have heard lots of apologies coming in. But what is coming? It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take music, and I'll take a quick break, and I'll be with you.
Little thing, it's gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing. And every little thing, it's gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about the thing. And every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds is by my doorstep, singing sweet song. Melodies pure and true, singing, this is my message to you.
Okay, so something from Bob Marley once again. My apologies there. Somebody missing their way calling into the studio. Well, so I needed to redirect them. Okay, it is still Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, we know that the president of Ghana was of the agenda where it says Ghana beyond aid, Africa beyond aid going on. But the government has not debunked assertion that it has made a sudden turnaround from its slogan Ghana beyond aid by running to the IMF for an economic bailout in their current harsh economic conditions. The Ghana beyond aid was a vision of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to build a Ghana where everyone has access to education, training, and productive employment, where no one goes hungry and everyone has access to necessities of life, including good health care, water, sanitation, and decent housing in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, it focuses on values, mindset, and attitudinal changes that condition the environment for pursuing development rather than a list of projects to be implemented. By this initiative, the president's vision was to ultimately transform Ghana into an aid-free country. However, with the continuous borrowing, which has raised Ghana's total debt stock to some 391.9 billion Ghana cedis as at March 2022, there are submissions that the Ghana Beyond Aid mantra is only a slogan for political expediency, especially as the country has returned to the IMF for economic assistance. And in reacting to these claims, the government said it has not abandoned its pursuit of a Ghana Beyond Aid. Now, a statement from the Ministry of Finance explained that Ghana is only back to the IMF because the world has been hit with major shocks which have impacted the country as well. Now, countries go to the IMF for support when they face challenges and want the needed support to undertake its economic program but lack the required funding, the statement said. An IMF program, the statement noted, is expected to give the country the breathing room to pursue stronger structural reforms that will eventually help Ghana achieve the target set out in the Ghana Beyond Aid Charter. So, how is he going to implement that when he has how many people in the seat of government? Well, it is all Starr Radio, okay? It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 14 minutes past 12. One other story, and then I will take you to other parts of the world because we are going to cross over to number 10 Downing Street, seat of government, in the next few moments. So stay tuned and don't you go away. Well, now in reaction to teachers on strike or striking teachers, one of the government ministers have come to say if government had the means, they'd give it to you. Dominic Nitiwo is saying to striking teachers. Now, the First Minister Dominic Nitiwo has pleaded with workers' unions to exercise patience with the government as it negotiates with the International Monetary Fund for a bailout. Now, according to him, if the government had the means to meet their demands, there will be no need for the ongoing strike action some of the unions are on. Thus, called for cool heads to prevail. Now, he went on further to say this idea of I'm going to go on strike, I'm going to do this. If government has all the means, they will give it to you. This government has shown very good faith to everybody that if they have the means, they will do it. Now, they've never disrespected workers, they've never shouted on workers, they've negotiated with workers in good faith. I plead with them that they should give government the opportunity to negotiate with them in good faith. His statement was in relation to the threat of instability as a result of the frequent strike actions and threats of strike due to the harsh economic conditions the country is currently facing. So what do you think is going to happen on that front? Already, all unions in the pre-tertiary educational sector have embarked on an indefinite strike, calling on government to pay them 20% cost of living allowance that they call COLA. Now, to augment their rapidly eroding salaries amidst high inflation levels and soaring fuel and food prices, etc. Now, other workers' unions demanding same benefits have threatened to embark on their own strikes in the days ahead should their demands fall on deaf ears. Now, reacting to the situation, Dominic Nitiwo said the recent agitation, especially now that the country is headed to the IMF, puts Ghana in a tight spot. Now, can you imagine you're already an IMF team and workers are asking for between 6 to to 8 billion extra income or extra expenditure on the budget, it makes your work very, very difficult. I just plead that yes, things are difficult. We all accept. It is not the fault of the worker that maybe if he was earning 3,000 Ghana cedis yesterday, that 3,000 may buy 3,000 may buy less things. But like I said, let's plead with everybody to give government the opportunity to negotiate very well with them. But I really worry that whatever we do, we should look at our kids and ensure that we don't leave a country where tomorrow those kids will find Ghana a different place. We've managed ourselves very well up till now, and we'll continue to do whatever we have to do to keep this country very safe, extremely very safe. Interesting statement there. But who will want to listen to government when they have themselves not cut down on their expenses or their expenditure? Godwin Isaac, good afternoon to you, and thank you for your comment. He's saying Nigeria is already cursed. Maybe go buy me KFC, and once I've had that, I will come and deliver it. All right then, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A quick commercial break. I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
All ladies, you are invited to our premier 13th annual Women's Conference Lady to Lady Global Conference 2022. Theme, Joy. Date, Saturday, 30th July. Doors open at 11 a.m. Venue, Fairview's Concert Halls, the Phoenix Theater, Croydon, CR91DG3, United Kingdom. Register on www.ladytoladyglobalorg. Music Minister, CLC Healing Voices. Simeon. Queenie, Ada Ahi. Congratulations, I have seen the glory of God. Conference speakers, Reverend Betty King, Pastor Marjorie, Pastor Sandra.
I did come to Lady, and from that day onwards, my life has never been the same.
See you there.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 12:21 the time. As I said, I will be taking you to number 10 Downing Street in the next few moments, as and when I've got the feed from them. But as it is at the moment, we have a few statements going on there. Let me see whether I can capture that for you as well.
And the work of our legislature
is often underreported. The workings of the House.
And this time round is coming live from the former Prime Minister Theresa May, who is speaking at the Institute for Government. Okay, stay tuned. Don't you go away. Enjoy that a bit, and I'll be with you.
Not clear. We consult works of authority such as Erskine May and adhere to proven historical conventions. Long-standing practices like the government of the day determining the business of the House or the proper use of a humble address, which until 2017 had not been used substantively since 1866. On that occasion, 2017, the Labour Party leadership sought to disregard the long-standing conventions of our legislature for short-term political gain. In doing so, breaking another of our most fundamental practices in not seeking to involve the monarch in our political debate. If we depart from the spirit of our established constitutional rules to suit short-term interests, we undermine faith in our system. Another well-known convention of the House of Commons, of course, is the way we refer to fellow parliamentarians. We are all, in the House at least, honourable members. Convention dictates that we don't address one another, instead pose our questions and responses to the chair. Convention prevents us from calling one another liars and traitors. For over 150 years, these practices, admittedly perhaps odd-sounding to the outside world, have helped to make the cut and thrust of debate less personal and direct, and have helped in a small way to maintain the dignity of the House and the honour of its members. Because politics is an honourable pursuit. And in my experience of over 30 years in public life, the vast majority of those who seek political office are motivated to improve the lives of others and fight for what they believe to be.
Theresa May there speaking at the Institute for Government. You can see there, let me just get out of the way of the picture, you can see there the lectern, the podium in front of the door of number 10, outside number 11. Staff serving the Prime Minister have been gathering, waiting to hear the statement that we're expecting in the next 10 minutes or so. Andrew Griffith, for example, we can see standing there, the Prime Minister's Director of Policy, and other members of the staff there standing outside at number 11, gathering to hear the resignation statement of the Prime Minister, expected at 12:30. They're currently plugging in the podium outside number 10.
So this is what traditionally happens.
Well, development. As I've said, I'm going to make sure I capture everything for you. So don't you think of going away at all. Don't you think of going away at all. And make sure that you don't miss a thing there. So we know that in the next 10 minutes we'll be going to number 10 once again. But I'm going to bring you pictures of there whilst we look at some of the stories making the rounds on that front. Yes, I'll make sure I do that whilst I try to get you all the other information that you need to know this afternoon pertaining to what is happening in at the seat of government here in the UK. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The Prime Minister is supposed to give his resignation speech in the next 5 or 10 minutes. And as I said earlier on, I'll be monitoring it very, very closely. And I'll make sure I bring that your way. Okay, so stay tuned. Don't you even think of going away at all. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Heather Wheeler at the front, Sophie, in the white jacket, embracing some of her colleagues. So, yeah.
Okay, just bear with me. I think I'm getting a double feed, so let me try to take one feed out. Yes. That is the gathering of the staff at number 10 and number 11. They are all gathering in front of the number 10 Downing Street, where the Prime Minister is going to make a statement pretty soon. This all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. But whilst we wait for that statement to go on, let me just continue to bring you some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Yes, now Beninese insecure as tourism increases. Now, what are we talking about here once again? Now, the story says that, well, Benin's government has been taking steps to stop incursions after several months of terrorist attacks in the northwest and northeast of the country. Now, despite citizens still feel insecure, jihadists first struck Poga in the Benjari National Park area in December 2021, where 2 soldiers and an assailant lost their lives. Now, following this, the government set up a military base in the north of the country aimed at reinforcing the security of goods and people. But the attacks continue with the storming of Monzi and Dazari police stations and the other localities in the north, causing loss of life both among armed forces and civilians. The authorities continue to reassure the people of Benin the Beninese army is sufficiently equipped to ward off the insurgents or the scourges that can disturb the tranquility of the Beninese. Alain Fortunet Notin, Beninese Minister of Defense, has said, I will tell the people of Benin that they have nothing to fear. Well, somebody will say action speaks louder than words. So let's see what they are doing on that front. But still, in your shots, yes, number 10, the front of number 10 Downing Street, where the Prime Minister will be giving or making a speech in the next few moments pertaining to his resignation. Yeah, what do you think about all that? It's going to be Starr Radio UK, bringing you live feed from there. So don't you go away. As I've said, I'll make sure you don't miss a thing there. But whilst we wait for that to take place, and the Nigerian pastor has denied holding churchgoers for rapture. Now, police in Ondo State freed at least 77 people who were kept in the church basement by a pastor who preached to them about Christian believers that rapture is going to be coming. We don't want to go involve ourselves in the world messing ourselves up, so we have to stay here. And the police in Nigeria freed at least 77 people who were kept in the church basement by a pastor who preached to them about Christian believers ascending to heaven with the second coming of Christ. Authorities said on Sunday the people were rescued Friday night included 23 children, some as young as 8 years old. We have had issues of religious bodies having issues, but not something like a church harboring some people, said Fumilayo Odulami, a police spokesperson there. But the release of dozens of people from the church last week brought to light a problem that was not new for some residents of that state. The former worshiper at the Whole Bible Believer Church said she stopped following the pastor when she noted that his preaching was not based on what was written in the Bible. Now, Ondo Police says that the pastor at the church encouraged the members to stay behind and wait for the rapture, an allegation that both pastors denied in an interview with Associated Press on Tuesday. We have never said that Jesus Christ is coming on any specific day, says David Anifo, was a pastor of the Whole Bible Believer Church. He added that there's no dungeon at the church. Nigeria is a deeply religious country where many religious leaders are revered. Okay, so that seems to be what is happening in that part of the world. Now let's move on to other parts of the world. Well, in Ghana, in the UK, my apologies, Boris Johnson is announcing a new cabinet before his own resignation statement. New ministers include James Cleverly as Education Secretary. But you are going. Now that's why I've been asking the question. What do you think should happen? What do you think should happen? Is he going to hang on with what the step that he's taking? It shows or proves that he wants to still be at the helm of affairs, holding things together until a substantive leader of the Conservative Party is voted in for. But what do you think is going to happen there? James Cleverly, will he take that job on? Well. Somebody say a sinking ship. What do you do with it? Okay. Starr Radio UK. In other parts of the world, while we wait for the statement from number 10 Downing Street, I can see Jacob Rees-Mogg in the front there as well, and some other supporters. I can see Mrs. Boris Johnson. So I think the Prime Minister is on his way now. Let's go there. I can see Baby Johnson. I can see Doris Nadine there as well. So now let me take you straight to number 10 Downing Street.
Having a toddler out on the Downing Street.
Well, the toddler did not come on the trip, which, as anyone knows who takes a toddler on a plane, is probably best advised.
Yes.
So look, there we have it. Chris Heaton-Harris, there's Carrie, there's giving us a little wave. She looks actually lovely, doesn't she, in that red dress? And the little baby, Romney, there she is. She's a sweet little baby. She's only 9 months old. And Nadine Dorries. And we are waiting for the Prime Minister. The door is opening. Here he comes. Let's listen in.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you. It is clearly now the will of the Parliamentary Conservative Party that there should be a new leader of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister. And I've agreed with Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of our backbench MPs, that the process of choosing that new leader should begin now. And the timetable will be announced next week. And I've today appointed a cabinet to serve, as I will, until a new leader is in place. So I want to say to the millions of people who voted for us in 2019, many of them voting Conservative for the first time, thank you for that incredible mandate, the biggest Conservative majority since 1987, the biggest share of the vote since 1979. And the reason I have fought so hard in the last few days to continue to deliver that mandate in person was not just because I wanted to do so, but because I felt it was my job, my duty, my obligation to you to continue to do what we promised in 2019. And of course, I'm immensely proud of the achievements of this government, from getting Brexit done to settling our relations with the continent for over half a century, reclaiming the power for this country to make its own laws in Parliament, getting us all through the pandemic, delivering the fastest vaccine rollout in Europe, the fastest exit from lockdown, and in the last few months, leading the West in standing up to Putin's aggression in Ukraine. And let me say now to the people of Ukraine that I know that we in the UK will continue to back your fight for freedom for as long as it takes. And at the same time, in this country, we've been pushing forward a vast program of investment in infrastructure and skills and technology, the biggest in a century, because if I have one insight into human beings, it is that genius and talent and enthusiasm and imagination are evenly distributed throughout the population, but opportunity is not. And that's why we must keep levelling up, keep unleashing the potential of every part of the United Kingdom. And if we can do that in this country, we will be the most prosperous in Europe. And in the last few days, I've tried to persuade my colleagues that it would be eccentric to change governments when we're delivering so much and when we have such a vast mandate and when we're actually only a handful of points behind in the polls, even in mid-term after quite a few months of pretty relentless sledging, and when the economic scene is so difficult domestically and internationally. And I regret not to have been successful in those arguments, and of course it's painful not to be able to see through so many ideas and projects myself. But as we've seen at Westminster, the herd instinct is powerful. When the herd moves, it moves. And my friends, in politics, no one is remotely indispensable. And our brilliant and Darwinian system will produce another leader equally committed to taking this country forward through tough times, not just helping families to get through it, but changing and improving the way we do things, cutting burdens on businesses and families, and yes, cutting taxes, because that is the way to generate the growth and the income we need to pay for great public services. And to that new leader, I say, whoever he or she may be, I say I will give you as much support as I can. And to you, the British public, I know that there will be many people who are relieved, and perhaps quite a few who will also be disappointed. And I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. But them's the breaks. I want to thank Carrie and our children and all the members of my family who've had to put up with so much for so long. I want to thank the peerless British Civil Service for all the help and support that you have given our police, our emergency services, and of course, our fantastic NHS, who at critical moment helped to extend my own period in office, as well as our armed services and our agencies that are so admired around the world, and our indefatigable Conservative Party members and supporters, whose selfless campaigning makes our democracy possible. I want to thank the wonderful staff here at Chequers, here at number 10, and of course at Chequers, and our fantastic prop force detectives, the one group, by the way, who never leak. Above all, I want to thank you, the British public, for the immense privilege that you have given me. And I want you to know that from now on until the new Prime Minister is in place, your interests will be served and the government of the country will be carried on. Being Prime Minister is an education in itself. I've travelled to every part of the United Kingdom, and in addition to the beauty of our natural world, I found so many people possessed of such boundless British originality and so willing to tackle old problems in new ways that I know that even if things can sometimes seem dark now, our future together is golden. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Boris Johnson there talking about how sad he is to give up the best job in the world, but them's the breaks. Thank you for an incredible mandate, he said to the people who gave him the mandate after that 2019 general election victory. But the Darwinian system, he said, will now produce a new leader. Let's go to Beth Rigby, shall we? Beth, what did you make of that statement?
Well, it was kind of trademark, but it was vintage Boris Johnson, wasn't it? It was, as I thought it would be. He was talking about his greatest hits. It had humour in there. It was tinged with sadness. And it was also very dignified, actually. A very dignified speech, I thought, in which he held his head high. He accepted that he didn't want to leave. And he gave, well, one thing about Boris Johnson is he doesn't really give you much emotion, but there, what he does is he uses language to show the emotion. And some of the things that, struck me, he said, of course, it was painful not to be able to see through the project. And as I said before, he rolled out the greatest hits. He said how proud he was to have got Brexit done. He said, and to give the country back the power to make its own laws. That's how he put it. He talked about levelling up. We must keep on levelling up, and we must fight for the freedom of Ukraine for as long as it takes. He then went on to say, of course, it is painful not to see the projects through that I wanted to. And then he said, in a characteristically humorous way, he said, but the herd has moved, and when the herd moves, it moves quickly. And then he said, no one is remotely indispensable. He'd said how much he wanted to stay on, and then he said that the Darwinian system, as he put it, will produce another leader who he said he would give as much support as he could. And then he touched upon his divisiveness, because he's batted it off all the time. But he said, I know that some of you, many of you, he said, will be relieved and some disappointed by my resignation. And he said he was so sad to be leaving the best job in the world, as he described it. And then he finished off by thanking the public for giving him, as he said, the immense privilege of being able to serve as the Prime Minister. He said being Prime Minister is an education in itself. And he said about the boundless British energy and enthusiasm that he had met around the country. And then he finally ended with, he is a journalist, he's a good writer, and he does good oratory. He said, it might feel dark now, but the future together is golden. And with that, the applause, there were no tears, massive applause. And he went back and he also thanked his wife, Carrie Johnson, who was watching on with their 9-month-old baby, Romney.
Yeah, it was, I thought, Beth, it was interesting talking beforehand about the emotion of other resignation statements we've seen. And in recent days, we've been told that Boris Johnson is in buoyant spirits. And there were no tears, obviously, from the Prime Minister, but I did get a sense we got a flicker of emotion from him, perhaps more than he usually shows, when he was talking about how sad he was to get the best job in the world, as she was saying, talking quite frankly about the reason that he's continued to fight on so long, perhaps a little bit of an acknowledgement that he has been trying to hang on to the job until it just became impossible.
Yeah, and he talked about, he started off by thanking the British people for that huge mandate. He wanted it to be known that he was a winner once, and he won the biggest majority since Margaret Thatcher, and he wanted to remind everyone of that. And he explained that that was the reason that he clung on for so long, that he felt that he had been given a mandate by the people, and that mandate he felt stood, but he said, as he acknowledged, the herd moved against him. And once that happened, there really was nowhere else for him to go. But, I didn't expect to see Boris Johnson shed a tear. The most emotion I've ever seen in Boris Johnson is him sometimes drops his head. But he wanted that to be a moment where he projected confidence and optimism. They are the tickets, if you like, that attracted the public to him in the first place, the can-do optimism, the Boris Johnson boosterism, as we used to call it. And really that speech, I think, had bucket loads of that in terms of the delivery. But also, look, it's hard to hear any Prime Minister talk about having to leave that job. It was hard to hear David Cameron do it, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, because, as he said, it's the best job in the world. I'm sad to leave it. I didn't want to go, but I had to leave. And that must be absolutely brutal to have to do that in the moment. But, he was very composed. He was upbeat, and I did, as I said, I felt that was vintage Boris Johnson. He gave us his best version of himself there.
Yes, certainly. You can see around us. They are literally packing up at our feet.
I think, we are being packed up.
I mean, this is the brutality of politics, I think.
Okay, Starr Radio UK, a feed from the Sky crew there as well, pertaining to what has happened at number 10 Downing Street. And let me announce it to you, for those of you who didn't get that. In the last few moments, Prime Minister Boris Johnson has quit as Tory leader but vowed to stay on as Prime Minister. I did ask the question earlier on that do you think he should be shown the door, because before he came on he had started nominating or appointing other people to other cabinet offices. Now Boris Johnson is giving his resignation address in an address outside number 10 Downing Street. Okay, the Prime Minister quits as Tory leader but says he will continue to serve until the party chooses his successor. But a growing number of Tory MPs are saying he has to quit now. That is a worry there. A growing number of them are saying he has to quit now. Now, Labour says Johnson cannot stay on as Prime Minister, or they will try to bring a no confidence vote in Parliament. Now, he has been appointing a new cabinet, Greg Clark, as the new levelling up secretary, while Kate Malthouse is Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster. James Cleverly becomes the third Education Minister in 3 days, while Robert Beckland becomes Welsh Secretary. Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, who has remained silent for days, is cutting short a foreign trip and returning to London. Is it to fight a cause, a position as a leader? Well. I will bring you more on that. Yes. But above all, yes, let me bring you the statement that he brought earlier on. Mr. Johnson said, I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. The Prime Minister said that. He went on further to say that he is finishing his statement by saying that until his replacement is found, the public's interest will be served. Now, being Prime Minister is an education in itself. I've traveled to every part of the UK and I found so many people possessed of such boundless British originality and so were willing to tackle old problems in new ways. Now, even if things can sometimes seem dark now, our future together is golden, Johnson said. He received some applause after that. And above all, he went on to say, I want to thank you, the British public, for the immense privilege you have given me. He says the public will be served from now until the new Prime Minister is in place. Now, Johnson said it is painful. He went on to say it is painful. He said it is painful to lose. Johnson says it is preposterous to change government, rejecting the idea of a general election when we're delivering so much and such vast mandates when the economic scene is so difficult domestically and internationally. He went on further to say, he said, I regret to not be successful in arguments, and it's painful not to see through so many ideas and projects. Now, Johnson continues that in politics, no one is remotely indispensable. He says our brilliant and Darwinian system will produce another leader. Johnson will give the new leader as much support as he can. He says we must keep leveling up. He continues there. We must keep leveling up, keep unleashing the potential of every part of the United Kingdom. Johnson continues, if we can do that, we will be the most prosperous in Europe, he says there. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to be running up pretty soon. But some analysts are going to say, not entirely magnanimous departure. Boris Johnson said it was eccentric of colleagues to ditch him when he was only a few points behind in the polls. So he thought that where he was okay. Somehow he could have just gone on with it. But what do you think about that? Well, in the last few moments, we've got the Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, who has also made a statement. Moments after Boris Johnson finished his speech, we finally heard from the Foreign Secretary Liz Truss. The Prime Minister has made the right decision, she tweets. The government under Boris' leadership had many achievements, delivering Brexit, vaccines, and backing Ukraine. We need calmness and unity now, and to keep governing while a new leader is found. Is it that she doesn't want to also go? Or even if she goes, who is going to take the helm of the foreign secretary portfolio? Now, when he says that, you do wonder if he did seriously consider going for an early election. Okay, let me take it again. That is some analysis that has been done this time around from Ian Watson, political correspondent. He said, and not entirely magnanimous departure, Boris Johnson said it was eccentric of colleagues to ditch him when he was only a few points behind the polls. Now, when he says that, you do wonder if he did seriously consider going for an early election. And that's what some of us were thinking, that he would have gone for an early election so that, well, if he wins, he said, well, I've got a mandate to go on with it. If he loses, he knows that, well, it is time for him to lose. But I think some of the Conservatives were looking at the fact that, well, they don't want to be in a sinking ship, knowing that this ship is going to sink, the Titanic is sinking, and say, oh no, let's plod on, let's have Mary. Now they didn't want that, and they want him out. As expected, he also reminded us of his greatest hits, from Brexit to vaccines, and he confirms he will stay on until there is a new party leader and not universally popular decision with some Conservative colleagues. But we'll be following the story very, very closely to see what the backbenchers and the party, the Conservative Party, will be doing about that. But we want to know what the leader of the opposition, Keir Starmer, has said so far. pertaining to this resignation. As we were saying yesterday, Michael Gove was sacked after he urged Prime Minister to resign. And this is the case that the next day you've resigned. So, is he going to call him back? And if he's called back, will he want to hold the helm? Or, this time round, Boris has crossed the bridge that there's no more return. Well, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, let's see some of the appointments that the Prime Minister has done as well. But Kremlin glee as well reacts to Johnson and game. I don't know what the Kremlin will be thinking about it now. Putin will be saying, yes, I've gotten him out. Well, but the Kremlin in Moscow has taken a swipe at outgoing UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who has overseen consistent British support for Ukraine in its fight against Russian invasion. Now, President Putin's spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, said, Mr. Johnson really does not like us. We do not like him either. He said he hoped more professional people who can make decisions through dialogue will take over in London. But at the moment, there is a little hope for that, he added. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who has developed a close relationship with Mr. Johnson since the start of the war, has yet to comment publicly on the end of his time in office. Mr. Peskov was not the only critic. Guy Verhofstadt, the European Parliament's former Brexit coordinator, said Mr. Johnson's reign was ending in disgrace, just like his friend Donald Trump. EU-UK relations suffered hugely with Johnson's choice of Brexit. He added, things can only get better. But do you think that things are going to go or get better with Boris Johnson gone as Prime Minister? Well, he's got a few months. Yes, a few months, unless the Conservative Party decide to push him out like ASAP. If not, he's got a few months to continue his reign and his rule there as well. But Boris Johnson has drawn comparison to Donald Trump through much of his ascent to the heights of British politics. Now he's taking a page out of the former US president's playbook. Concede nothing, brush off the criticism, press on, make them tear the paper from your hands. And that's exactly what has happened this morning. Some people were comparing him to Donald Trump, saying that well, he is like his own power, Donald Trump. They never say die until the bones are rotten. But it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Well, let me bring you one story that is making the rounds in the UK, and then investigators hope their search operation. Redwood Group explosion, cause of fatal fire still under investigation. Remember that fire incident that happened? I think a week ago, few days ago. Investigators hope their search operation at the scene of a fatal explosion at a block of flats could begin sooner than expected. More than 20 flats in the 3-story block at Redwood Grove, Bedford, were destroyed in the fire on the 4th of July, and a large section of the block's roof collapsed. At least one person has died and 3 people were taken to the hospital. Now, the person who died has not yet been formally identified. Now, police said it had held positive discussions with structural engineers, and investigators might be able to begin the process of a detailed search more quickly, subject to some structural support and safety measures being implemented in the next few days. Now, specialist fire investigators will continue to work with the police to establish the cause of the fire and are following a number of lines of inquiry, a police spokesman said. The force said it was hoped most residents in the adjacent blocks of flats will be able to return to their homes by the end of this week. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Yes, we're bringing the program to a close, and the breaking news has been Boris Johnson quitting as Tory leader and saying will of party is clear, that the Prime Minister says the process of choosing a new leader and Prime Minister needs to begin, but he will remain in number 10 until a successor is in place. Okay, so this is why I'm bringing the program to a close. for today, but I promise you tomorrow we're going to be looking at what is happening there. Well, will the backbenchers push until he's out totally? Or will he still put his agenda across and then appointing others? What is going to happen to that as well? Well. It's been a pleasure coming your way once again. But let me bring you this tune from a cover version of Papa Yangson's song, Tina Menchen, made of Upa. But this time around from the Soul Street. Enjoy it, and I promise you, I'll be with you tomorrow. And this afternoon, exactly this evening at 6 o'clock, there'll be a repeat broadcast of the BB Means Business Show that came your way. And then a repeat broadcast of the one and only program, The Property Hour, with KB Botsman and Vicky Newton. Stay tuned, don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Who has long been a supporter of, I'm trying to get this up for you, has long been...
Thanks for listening.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Don't you break my heart.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Mama was